and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. UPI reports the U.S. Treasury Department and IRS announced Monday certain tax-exempt organizations will no longer be required to provide personally identifiable information about donors. Under the change, nonprofit organizations such as labor unions, volunteer fire departments, issue advocacy groups, local chambers of commerce, veterans groups, and community service clubs will no longer be required to list the names and addresses of their donors on Schedule B of their annual returns. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin said Americans should not be required to send the IRS information that it doesn't need in order to effectively enforce our tax laws, and the IRS simply does not need tax returns with donor names and addresses to do its job in this area. Previously, Congress directed the IRS to collect donor information of contributors who gave at least $5,000 to charities that accept tax-deductible contributions. The IRS received a full version of the information, while redacted forms were released publicly. Mnuchin said the change will in no way limit transparency, and the same information will still be made available to the public while protecting donor information. He said this new policy for certain tax-exempt organizations will make our tax system simpler and less susceptible to abuse. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky praised the decision as a positive development for political donors, saying this decision by the IRS is a move in the right direction to end activist regulators' culture of intimidation to silence political speech. More and more states were using these documents to chill political discourse rather than encourage it. House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi said the decision would give the IRS fewer tools to determine whether affected groups are following the law. Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com. Reuters reports 4 U.S. states sued the federal government on Tuesday to void a new $10,000 cap on federal deductions for state and local taxes included in President Donald Trump's 2017 tax overhaul. The lawsuit by New York, Connecticut, Maryland, and New Jersey came 7 months after Trump signed the $1.5 trillion overhaul passed by the Republican-led Congress, which cut taxes for wealthy Americans and slashed the corporate tax rate. Critics have said the cap would disproportionately harm blue states that tilt Democrat. Tuesday's lawsuit adds that many legal battles between such states, including several with high tax rates, and the Trump administration, which was accused of unconstitutionally intruding on state sovereignty by imposing the cap. Taxpayers have long typically enjoyed unlimited federal deductions for state and local taxes. Under the cap, individuals and married taxpayers filing jointly who itemize deductions may deduct up to only $10,000 annually for state and local income, property, and sales tax. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
To help you understand how dangerous narcotics operations have persisted despite decades of bold efforts to completely mishandle the problem, we now present The Onion Explains, the drug trade. The cartels remain as powerful as ever. Experts say that the only solution is to eliminate the demand for illegal drugs by instead getting buzzed on common household products, like cough syrup. Not only do items such as nail polish remover and model glue get you ripped if you really breathe that in, they also help shrink the market for cartel drugs. Cartels would stand to lose billions if even a third of the people using their cocaine or methamphetamine instead huffed Freon, which will knock you right on your ass just as quickly. It's easy to get by cracking open an air conditioner. If enough people realize that keyboard cleaner will put you in a insane trance and that it's just sitting there right now in your desk drawer, the costly war on drugs could very well end tomorrow.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free, take control of the airwaves here. Bring up whatever is on your mind. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well at Skype username lrn.fm. Plus, our Discord on-air call-in line room is available to you as well. So hop on in there, and you will sound almost like you're in the studio here with us. In that studio is Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
So tonight, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. I did watch the Sacha Baron Cohen Showtime series
Borat
premiere. Yeah, so the guy who did Borat, the guy who did Ali G.
Bruno.
And Bruno, he's back with 4 new characters. And so we can talk about that coming up here tonight. Also, universal basic income, of course, is back in the news. This time, in a place where we like to read about things. The Foundation for Economic Education has a piece about this. And, we're seeing all this media in the mainstream media promoting universal basic income. Everybody needs to get a check from the government. And so we're going to dig into that coming up here tonight. You can, of course, join us here at 855-450 free. But Conan, let's start with you. You were in court recently.
Yeah, finally got that traffic citation, that vehicle inspection taken care of.
The one that you hadn't gotten in like 4 years, basically?
4.5 years, 25,000 miles later. I just was driving around, just minding my own business, doing my thing, and they finally got me. They finally cracked down on me, and it was an experiment of sorts.
You going to court was an experiment, is what you're saying.
Me driving around without vehicle inspection was an experiment.
To see how long you could do it for?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. So you said driving, not traveling. So you weren't doing one of these, sovereign citizen right to travel things.
Yeah, I don't follow any of that.
Okay.
I don't know that it works. I know that people claim that it works, but as Ian points out, every single time these guys call in, I have never seen the evidence of it ever working. So if it does, I want to see the video.
Wait, the evidence of car inspections?
Of the fighting, the traveling.
I wasn't driving, I was traveling, and I was not in an automobile, I was in a horseless carriage.
Yeah,
I would love to see it work.
constitutionality of free travel.
I'd love to see it work. Dick Marple, who is a state representative, State Rep Dick Marple from Hooksett, New Hampshire, he has gone to court and has tried some of those kind of sovereign man arguments. We've got video footage of it over at the Free Keene YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. It's the first time I've ever really seen somebody go into a court and really who knew their stuff. Because, I've kind of tried some of this stuff in the past and just got shot right down. Dick Marple was a real show. Did you ever see that video, Conan?
I've seen segments of it. I haven't sat down and watched the entire length of it.
I think it's probably like a 30-minute video or something around that range. He gets an arraignment, and then there's another one where he's on trial.
Isn't it? He wouldn't even go up to the stand.
He will not cross the bar.
He stood behind the bar.
Right. Like a lot of them say to do or to not do.
Because if you cross the thing, then you're entering their jurisdiction or something.
That's the claim, and so he sort of stood on that concept, the idea that he did not consent to their jurisdiction throughout all of his interactions with the judge, and he believes that he kind of wins in some ways, even though he doesn't ultimately win, even though they found him guilty. And I asked him, well, are you going to appeal this? And he said, well, no, because if you appeal it, then that means you're consenting to their system.
Yep.
Well, I've heard other people say that you have to appeal it in order to prove that you're not consenting or something.
Well, the court would never accept that on appeal. So
right,
it wouldn't
but
go anywhere.
there are a lot of weird theories about this. And they all seem to be conflicting.
Right, because none of this crap actually works. And so people cook up all kinds of theories, and most of them never actually put them into play.
Right.
So whenever I can find somebody who's willing to put this stuff into play, whether it be Jay Noon, who is a longtime listener and supporter, even co-host here on Free Talk Live, who actually stood on his own property, or what he thought was hopefully would be his property, but the town stole it from him, in Palmer, Massachusetts, where he bought a house and never paid property taxes on it. That's the kind of, courage that people just don't have. They sit there and they research and they research and they research and they opine on the internet about all these court ideas, and they can point to all these Supreme Court, decisions to back up their arguments. But when it comes time to actually being in the courtroom, most of them won't do it.
Right.
There was one guy, actually now there's been 2 guys who've come to New Hampshire. I'm not even going to name names, but there was one several years ago who came here and purported to be like one of these gurus, right? Like one of these courtroom gurus. He has beaten the government. He's got a record of beating the government, and he's gonna do it here. So I was like, all right, great. Well, go right ahead downtown, get yourself a parking ticket or something. I mean, it's super easy. You want to nab a ticket in New Hampshire, just go ahead and park downtown for a few hours.
Get your Waze app out and figure out where the the speed traps are.
That's going to take longer, honestly. I mean, because there really aren't that many speed traps in New Hampshire. I mean, you can drive from here to Concord. I guess see a single cop.
I guess that living here, I always notice them and pick up on them. Well,
the downtown, Keene police are around a lot, but they're not always doing speed traps. Usually they're on the roads driving while they're running their radar, at least from what I've seen with Keene police.
Yeah.
State police will do speed traps, but you rarely see them when you're driving. You can drive an hour and a half in New Hampshire and not see a single cop outside of the cities. So it'd be easier to just leave your car downtown, go shopping for a while, and then come back. You've got a ticket.
Right.
So you want to challenge. So anyway, I said to this guy, you go to court. If it's in Cheshire County, I'm definitely going to be there. If it's somewhere else, I'll do my best to get there. I mean, I live 5 minutes away from the courthouse here, and that's on bike.
Right.
So, and he never did get a ticket in Keene. He kind of moved up to, I think, like Weir, New Hampshire is this kind of town between here and Concord, basically, and disappeared for months. Nobody saw him at any kind of meetup, which isn't uncommon. There are people who come here and they kind of keep to themselves or whatever. But, he wasn't out there rattling the cage of the police, right, and getting himself a ticket so he could prove his claims. And then we have this thing called Pork 411, which is a voicemail messaging service for activists. So it's not used that much anymore, but it really used to be a way for people to communicate. And so he leaves a Pork 411. And on that Pork 411, which is a message system that's delivered to hundreds of recipients via email, he announces that he is going to be leaving New Hampshire, and he wants to anoint someone who's willing to learn the rules of the court, who's willing to be his student. He's willing to pass on all of his knowledge to that willing student. Just
the
get
knowledge
in touch with
that
him.
he never actually implemented.
At least provably in front of anybody here. He claimed to have done it where he came from and wherever it was. But so he was, making this announcement on Pork 411 that he's going to impart all of his knowledge to you. Just get in touch with him before he leaves New Hampshire. And that was the last we heard of him. And then there was another guy who was maybe about a year and a half.
A true master of the arts never displays his power unless in self-defense.
Well,
Right?
now that would be something one of them might say.
Yeah.
Hold on, but David Copperfield does shows all the time. He just doesn't show people the secrets.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
But he's a showman as well. I'm talking about the master of the arts. I'm about the Jedi masters.
No, I get your point, Conan, and that would be something that one of them might say.
Jedis don't actually exist, Conan.
Just how do you know? Just to it was a galaxy a
far,
long
far
time
away,
ago.
a long time ago, right?
Right. So they
Right.
all died off. They no longer exist.
Could be. You might be right.
If I can imagine it,
It could be true.
could be
There's
true.
porn of it. Oh wait,
Yep,
different.
that too.
I bet
Yeah,
you
that
there
too.
is too.
No,
Oh,
actually,
there is.
I bet you there's a lot of Star Wars porn.
There is.
Yeah.
a lot of slave Leia.
So the other guy. So I'm going to tell you about the second story
The
now.
Knights of Ren.
So the other story was more recent, maybe like a year and a half ago.
Yeah,
something
last
like
couple of
that.
years.
There was a dude who came here, made a big show about how, doing activism, and he did some good activism. I'll give him some credit. But at the same time, he was also one of these courtroom theorists who, purported to know his stuff. This guy actually was arraigned on something. And I was there to record that arraignment. And he tried to do some of the courtroom shenanigans during the arraignment.
How long ago was this?
About a year and a half, maybe 2 years.
Within the
no more than
last 2 years.
Yeah. And so he tried it, and it went nowhere, of course, in the arraignment. And then he skipped out on his next court date, so there's a warrant for his arrest.
Interesting.
Yeah. Toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. But my offer still stands for any courtroom gurus who want to prove their stuff, that you can defeat the state in their own court on a consistent basis. But doing it at least once will be impressive.
Yes.
So I'll be happy to record you if you come here to New Hampshire and get yourself a ticket. 855-450-FREE. We'll talk about Conan's experience coming up here in moments.
From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown, but these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive. The crown cannot be trusted to abide by its founding charters, nor its treaties, nor even its own rules. The essence of the crown is centralized violence, and I've had enough. That's why I raised my black banner. I am no revolutionary, My aim is not to reset the cycle of violence, but to break it. My aim is an evolved society, invisible to the Crown, not a new hierarchy, but decentralized networks with no central figure for the Crown to target. If you want your servile life, keep it, but we will not submit to the Crown's agenda. And when you are ready to stop being its beast of burden, ready for adventure and opportunity, join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
Imagine this is you. You're working late when you get an alert on your smartphone. Your motion-activated Blink security camera picked up something at home. You pop open your Blink app and see the silhouette of a man peering through your kitchen window. The job of a home security system is to help stop crime. Get 3 Blink cams for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. blinkprotect.com/FTL to save 15%.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Join us on the radio here. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you tonight, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
We're talking about courtroom attempts and failures, and in this case, Conan, you were not a success at winning the case that was against you for basically not having a government inspection.
Correct. I was found guilty. However, I'm chalking it up to a win.
All right, I want to hear about that here, but I also want you to know about Blink Home Security. You want to talk about affordable and easy? They've got it together at blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live, to save 15%. It's super affordable. Like, I was surprised given the quality and the ease of use. It's a wireless security system. The cameras are wireless. So you unbox, you put the batteries in, and you put the cameras where you want them. Then you just set it up via a Wi-Fi enabled device like your smartphone or tablet. There's one other piece. There's actually one piece that does have a wire. That's the power cable for the hub. That's all there is. And you put that kind of like in the central location of where all the cameras are, and you're good to go. So it's super easy. You go to blinkprotect.com/FTL. You'll save 15% because you're a Free Talk Live listener. blinkprotect.com/FTL. So, Conan, you were up against, what was the maximum fine? Do you recall?
$74.40.
So, $74 fine. You managed to...
Don't forget the 40 cents.
And was that with the penalty assessment?
That was with the penalty assessment.
So it was like a $60
fine according to New Hampshire reg.
In New Hampshire, they hit you with a 24% tax on top of the fine.
Which I asked specifically about and got an explanation from the judge and from the prosecutor, I believe, who by the way was one of the stateies himself.
Yep, they do that here. The state cops will frequently be their own prosecutor, which is a strange
Most places,
conflict.
the cops are the prosecutor.
Outside of New Hampshire?
Yeah,
is that right?
The last time when I dealt with my speeding ticket,
wasn't that way in Florida?
It was the regular lady, the regular prosecutor.
So you're talking about in the city of Keene. So the city of Keene, they have a prosecutor that works for the police.
That's correct.
But yeah,
they have
every
two prosecutors. They have the police prosecutor, who's a cop that does most of the plea deal taking for the Keene police, but there's also an actual attorney that they have on staff as well. And the state police have an attorney, it's just they don't generally come out except for the bigger cases.
But every time I've been to court, anywhere, it's generally been the police officer.
Is the prosecutor.
Was the prosecutor, was the witness against me.
Wow.
It's only been, like one or two things in the city of Keene where there's been that
interesting
city prosecutor.
I figured that was unusual for New Hampshire, but I guess not.
No.
So anyway, you were facing this trial, and the good news, you were going to explain why you considered it to be a win. Let me guess, because you avoided detection for 4 years ultimately and didn't end up paying a fine.
Ding, ding, ding. That was one. That's number one.
Okay.
Hold on. So how did you avoid paying a fine?
Well, I'm paying my fine through community service.
Sure, but that's still not paying them, right?
I'm not paying them.
It's not $75 coming out of your pocket.
No, it's 5 hours of my life, but I'm spending it at a facility, an organization that I support already.
Yeah, right.
So
you're actually benefiting the community. You would have done
like somehow I don't think it was stated that you were doing community service on the air, so that's why I'm confused.
But no, Ian brings up the best part about it. I got away with it for 4.5 years.
And
that's
so
that's $40 per year.
Right. You mean for the inspection? Had you gotten
just the inspection? And there's no telling if you watched. By the way, this video is up on freeking.com.
That's right.
It's like a 25-minute video. Basically, my argument was it's a scam, and then I got my original inspection ticket with all of the red flags they found, and I was like, bullcrap, 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 bullcrap.
You went to a dealer, and of course that's sort of like, that's the typical dealer experience, it seems like, for people, is that they bend them over a barrel, they charge them 2, 3, 5 times as much as they'd end up being charged at a good independent auto shop.
Right.
An honest independent auto shop as well, because they inflate all kinds of things, ordering parts for you didn't need, and you went through point by point. You actually looked at the inspection during the trial.
Yeah, the only thing they got me on was 2 bulbs that I wasn't even aware of. One was the license plate bulb. I didn't even see that.
You're saying the only thing they got you that you agreed
that I agreed with, correct. Right. But all of the other stipulations, no, it was bullcrap.
Now somebody's going to say, Conan, you're not an ASE certified technician. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I am a driver, and I don't want to get in a wreck. I don't want my wheels flying off because the ball joints are as bad as they said they were, or I don't want my bumper flying off because it wasn't bolted on, or because the rust is so bad my exhaust pipe falls off.
Not only that, but you're also the person who does all the work, most all of it, on your truck.
I do all the work on my truck. I always have. Always will.
So you're more in tune with your vehicle than the average person. But what about the average person? I mean, they
get taken for a ride, and it's very sad in this state.
I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'm going to take the side of the statist who wants to see car inspections. The average people don't know what they're doing, Conan. You may know a thing or two about cars, but the average people don't know what they're doing. Shouldn't they be in there inspecting their car every single year and fixing what's wrong with it?
Hold on. Here's a better idea. Why every year? Why not you have to get an inspection every 3 months when you get the oil change?
Every 3 months. There you go. Make it even safer.
Why should individuals who are taking care of their own business, their own affairs, on their own time, their own dime, why should they suffer because of the people out there who don't take care of their own vehicles in their own way and would want to take them to a specialist?
Well, here's the thing.
Why do I have to suffer because of them?
Here's the thing. In addition to that, a police officer can pull someone over for having an unsafe vehicle, whether it's been inspected in the last 365 days or not.
Right. If he sees a bumper falling off or whatever.
Right. If you've got a door being held on by 3 strips of duct tape, rednecks do that, then you could, wind up being pulled over for a safety violation. Again, whether you had an inspection or not. Secondarily, there are states with worse weather than New Hampshire that do not have annual vehicle inspection.
Michigan.
There are states near New Hampshire that have gotten rid of annual inspection. Rhode Island just a few years ago.
2009.
Right. And not only, you point out that there are other states that don't even have inspections, they also aren't any more dangerous.
Correct.
Those states, as far as like accidents on the road, as far as vehicles falling apart, randomly on the road. They've looked at the statistics. People have done studies on this, and annual inspections don't do jack squat to make a place more safe, to make roads more safe. The statistics are out there. Feel free to go look them up.
Yeah, if you're worried about your safety from your vehicle collapsing on you and as well as other vehicles around you, that's what auto insurance is for. That's that's on you.
That's part of it, but you still do, you ought to get your car inspected if you don't know how to do it yourself.
I would rather the insurance companies gave me an incentive as the owner of my vehicle for getting my vehicle inspected to prove to them that, hey, I am driving a safe vehicle. This is the same thing with having any kind of anti-theft detection or airbags. They give me an incentive for having those things. So if I could prove to them that my vehicle is super safe, I think the insurance companies would want that.
This could totally be done.
This is free market all
with
over.
Market incentives. I do it just because I don't know jack about cars. I've got a good mechanic who takes cryptocurrency here in town. I go twice a year. I usually go in the fall and in the springs. Generally, usually it's at least twice a year. Maybe there's a few years where I only went once, but I'm usually there. And I don't even have a New Hampshire car. The car that Darryl and I drive belongs to the church. It's registered in a different state. So we don't even have to obey their ordinance or their statute. But because I think safety is important, and I don't want to have a wheel flying off or something like that as I'm going around a corner or whatever, it's important to do that. But I get to look at his recommendations and say, okay, he thinks this is important. I should do this right now, or we can put this one off until X happens. 855-450 free like freedom. We talk more about your trial and how it went here in moments. It's Free Talk Live.
This is Jessica Armand, founder of My Magic Mud. Our team helped organize a successful effort to remove fluoride from our city's water supply. This is our passion. My Magic Mud Oral Care purifies and brightens your smile naturally. GCN listeners, please support my family business by purchasing our products from your local health food store. We're also available at CVS Pharmacy, or visit us at mymagicmud.com and take 10% off now with coupon code GCN10.
You can't print invoices without ink. You can't print status reports, spreadsheets, or that report due in 12 minutes without ink. No, you can't print anything without ink. Luckily, Staples has a huge selection of ink and toner in stock and at great prices every day. This week only, buy 1 HP ink at Staples and get a second 30% off. So stock up now, because you can't afford to run out of ink.
And Saturday, 7/21/18. See store associate or staples.com for details. Restrictions may apply.
Excuse me, is this where I get a license to start a new business?
I wouldn't be hasty. You have to get a license to go out of business, too,
Oh, well, look, I've invented this little anti-gravity machine, see?
Oh, is that why you're walking 2 inches above the floor?
Oh, yes, it's very comfortable. It saves on shoe leather.
Yeah, well, you have to fill out these forms and report to the Human Services Department of Manpower Orientation and register with the Fair Employment Practice Commission, the Wage and Hour Division of the Employment Standards Administration, the State Sales and Income Tax Division, the Internal Revenue Service, and the Social Security Administration of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, and, of course, OSHA.
OSHA? I thought that was a little town in Wisconsin.
You'll find out. Say, floating around like that could be dangerous. Have you checked with the Consumer Product Safety Commission?
Well, not yet.
Come to think of it, you actually are flying, aren't you? Look, you need to go over to the Federal Aviation Administration and the Transportation...
It's very hard to get anything done these days if you're in business, but free enterprise built this country. Think what could happen if we don't keep it free. A public service of this station and the Center for the Defense of Free Enterprise, Bellevue, Washington.
We just can't have people floating about unregulated,
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Bring up what you want. We're talking about going to court and challenging tickets. Conan, you weren't the only activists here in the area who were challenging tickets. Actually, I think it was the day
frivolous tickets, victimless crime tickets.
Right. Well, I mean, are there that many tickets that aren't for victimless crimes?
Not from us. No,
I mean in general.
Keeners.
In general, like if you're getting a ticket.
Well, I mean, I guess
you're probably talking about a victimless crime. If it's domestic violence, you're getting arrested. You know,
so now if you take into consideration victim crimes that are due to drug abuse, due to the drug war.
Yeah, but if you're going to go rip off Walmart because you're trying to feed a crack habit, you know, you're trying to pawn some clothes or whatever it is, you're going to get arrested.
Right.
They're not just going to ticket you and let you go about your day, I don't think.
Right. Tickets are generally for things that are listed as criminal violations.
Right. Or traffic violations, which in New Hampshire, you're going to go to a criminal courtroom to.
Right. That's a criminal violation.
Well, in some places, it's traffic court. And it's like completely separated from the whole criminal system.
It's not a civil suit.
No, it's not. But it's also not considered criminal. Like in New York City, they have like 23,000 traffic cops whose job it is to simply go around write traffic tickets. I suspect there's a traffic court in a place like New York City as well that handles those things.
Someone who does that for a living, call in and tell me how you live with yourself.
They are not going to do that. But if you want to try, if you want to call in with that's 855.
The young man who got me, the state cop, sergeant, no, not sergeant, but Trooper Bernier.
Yep. Real clean cut,
real clean cut, young guy. Yeah, only in the job for a year.
Yep. Fresh face.
Call in, dude, and tell me how you live with yourself, because that's all he does. Is he just hands out tickets.
The toll free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You know, if you wanted to ask him, you could have stood outside the courtroom and.
Well, I did ask him about how he was able to how he.
You could have asked that on the stand too. They would have objected, but you could have asked it.
Yeah, they did object to my question of whether it was who was the victim in this crime, and it was immediately objected.
And it was sustained, wasn't it?
Yeah. And by the way, Darryl, you asked about the trooper's ability to monitor unsafe vehicles on the highways, on the roadways. And I did. That was most of my questions during cross-examination to this trooper was, do you have the ability to monitor for unsafe vehicles. And have you ever done it? And he agreed that he has done it. And he also talked about the training they receive to be able to spot unsafe vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yeah, this is, you know, not only is it a scam, but these guys who are out there, basically these road pirates who are out there as parasites, living off of, you know, their paycheck is based off of how many tickets they bring in every day. Yeah, they do have the ability to keep us
indirectly.
Right.
Yeah.
So
now, one thing that's interesting is whenever there have been bills filed in the New Hampshire legislature to either get rid of inspections completely or make it every 2 years, or, you know, just like make it a little easier, if you will.
Yeah.
The mechanics unions come out and testify.
Auto dealers.
If you get rid of this, then we'll just lose all kinds of money because nobody will come in to get any cars
That's
repaired.
not what they say.
They actually say that?
That's not what they say.
That's a losing argument in my book.
That's not what they say. They come in and they bring a box full of old rusted parts, and they like dump the parts out on the table and these are the things we found because of mandatory auto inspections.
Yep.
These are the things that we will not find if you don't make people come to us. This is about safety.
Right. So, translation, if you get rid of this, nobody will come get their cars worked on.
Right. That's different than saying we're going to lose a bunch of money. They don't actually say that, Darryl.
In a roundabout way.
Okay. Thanks for admitting that that's not actually what they say.
Translate. You have to translate things of what
we can
say.
We can look between the lines and see what's actually being said, but these legislators, these dumbass legislators, they don't see that. They see safety first. It's for the kids.
Yeah. And that's the same reason why they talked on the decriminalization bill for cannabis. They talked them down from a full ounce decrim to 3/4 of an ounce. It was literally argued that they needed to do that for the children.
Yeah.
To protect the children.
God.
We got to protect the children from the extra 1/4 ounce of flowers.
And let's not forget, so you had the auto repair lobby. They would lose a lot of money.
Not really.
But the other entity
they'd probably lose some.
Well, let's look at it this way. So the other entity that would lose a lot of money, state of New Hampshire. They collected almost $4 million. They collected almost $4 million.
Because the state sets what the fee for the inspection is.
Do they collect a portion of it?
$4 million annually.
But of if you're going in for a $40 inspection.
No. They don't. I don't know if they collect any of that. There's the licensing fee. The auto repair guys have to go to Concord every month.
Well, that's going to not go away. Licensing fees are going to stay. I'm just wondering, does the state of New Hampshire get a piece of every inspection?
I don't know about that.
They do?
But the actual
How much?
But the actual inspection.
I'll have to pull up the RSA.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it's not a critical question that needs to be answered right now, but
I mean just take for example my bill. This dealership tried to charge me $1,500, and all of it was except for 2 bulbs.
Yeah.
$3 bulbs each.
Was premature.
That was it.
Unnecessary.
Everything was premature and unnecessary. So I mean, that's a lot of damn money.
It sure is, and you're just one of their victims.
Yep.
Or intended victims. They didn't get away with it with you.
And by the way,
some little old lady goes in there. They're going to get away with it. They're probably going to hit her for $2,000.
It's quite possible. Now I did get some recommendations from people who live in the area. It's like, no, you did it wrong. You need to go to the inspector who doesn't do any repair work. They're right, by the way, but that's really? Slave mentality. Instead of trying to get rid of the law, trying to fight the law, they're like, no, you just weren't a good slave.
Well,
you
the
didn't
average
do
person
it
doesn't
right.
know how to fight the law, and you can't fight City Hall is a very common refrain, right? Like you've heard people say that before.
And if you do fight them, it takes a long time to win.
It's a lot easier to just jump through the hoops.
Yep. Or figure out the loopholes, and that is don't take it to someone who does the repairs. Take it to someone who has no incentive to find things to fix because they won't fix it. They'll just say, all right, this is bad, do it yourself or go find someone to do it for you. So they don't have the incentive to actually find just crap, unnecessary repairs.
How many places are there like that? A place that just does inspections?
I can't imagine. I found one that does it, that might do a little repair work, but they don't specialize in it. And I'm not going to tell them online. I'm not going to tell anyone on air. If you want to, know the place,
I don't need to know.
Get a hold of me, and I'll set you up.
I get my car, like I said, I get the car that we drive inspected anyway because it's a good practice.
Right.
And I can pay crypto. I can pay cryptocurrency for it. So how many places can you do that? How many places have an auto repair shop?
Not outside of New Hampshire, anyways.
Where you can pay. Well, maybe there is. I mean, you can go to coinmap.org, and I bet you could find something. We thought, well, maybe we got the first golf course that takes crypto because that's a thing here too.
Yep.
I've never been to it because I don't play golf, so I don't think they've ever had a single client.
That is actually interesting. But I guess you got some techies, some young techies, millennials who might be into golfing. None of us are in golfing. I think that's a dumb sport.
But these are actually libertarians who run the golf course. So at least as I understand it.
So looking up the fees, the fee for inspection stickers shall be $3.25 for each sticker furnished.
And that's paid through the car dealer.
Yeah,
right?
So
because they give you the sticker, don't they?
The place that does the inspection, they have to pay. It's a yearly fee of, I think it was like $50, and then there's a set fee for here's what the sticker cost. 25 cents of that goes to the Motor Vehicle Pollution Abatement Fund. Another 25 cents goes to the general fund.
Okay, but basically it's $4. $4
just for the sticker, and then there's whatever fee for the inspection.
Right. So of a $40 inspection, about a tenth of it's going to the state.
Sounds about right.
Okay.
Yes.
Times at least a million vehicles.
Right. However many vehicles there are in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Maybe a little less than. You think there's that many? There's 1.3 million
population. Some people have 2 cars.
Yeah. Good point. Some people have zero cars.
Some people have. Yeah, you're right. So let's say 500,000
at least. Yeah, that seems real safe. I'd say probably more than that. But anyway, toll-free number if you want to join us here, 855-450-FREE. And kudos to you, Conan, for taking this to trial because you made the state work for their money.
They worked 25 minutes. I got a trooper off the streets for an hour.
They prepared the case.
Got a trooper off the streets for an hour and a half.
That was just 25 minutes in court. There was some preparation that went into that.
About 550,000 cars in New Hampshire.
Where's that from? Wiki?
Statistica.com.
Interesting. All right, more coming up here. You can share your thoughts, whether it's about court or car inspections or whatever's on your mind. You can take control of the airwaves at 855-450-FREE.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
You can't print invoices without ink. You can't print status reports, spreadsheets, or that report due in 12 minutes without ink. No, you can't print anything without ink. Luckily, Staples has a huge selection of ink and toner in stock and at great prices every day. This week only, buy 1 HP ink at Staples and get a second 30% off. So stock up now, because you can't afford to run out of ink.
And Saturday, 7/21/18. See store associate or staples.com for details. Restrictions may apply.
This is Jessica Armand, creator of the fluoride-free oral care brand, My Magic Mud. You're going to love our new products. Our cutting-edge oral rinses deeply soothe your mouth and fight cavities naturally. Our breath spray, My Magic Mist, will invigorate your senses with essential oils of peppermint and eucalyptus. Our clinically proven toothpaste and tooth powders whiten your teeth and detoxify your mouth. Buy discounted bundles direct at mymagicmud.com and take 10% off with coupon code GCN10. mymagicmud.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It is Free Talk Live. You're invited if you want to join us on the radio. To do that, you can dial in here toll-free and take control of the airwaves. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. Skype username is LRN.FM. Joining you tonight, Ian here.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
Our Discord on-air call-in line room is also available to you over at discord.lrn.fm. And there's a cool app that you can use if you like that kind of thing. If you don't care for apps, there's a web version of Discord that you can use as well. And it's basically a chat server with multiple rooms of different topics. There's one for cryptocurrency, one about New Hampshire, and other different topics like Free Talk Live, which is where people hang out during the show. But again, it's there before, during, and after Free Talk Live. And Conan, you and I are frequently found in that Discord server. So if you want to join the discussion online constantly, or as often as you want, it's there for you at discord.lrn.fm. And again, that's where our on-air call-in line room is. If you're on the Discord server, it makes it easy to call the program. Let's go to the phones. And we'll talk to Eric in Georgia. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Eric.
Hi. Thanks for putting me online. Thank you.
No problem. That's what we do. What's on your mind tonight?
I wanted to. So there's a sort of a move to draft Pat Byrne to run for Libertarian nomination for president.
Patrick Byrne, the guy who founded Overstock.com. That Patrick Byrne?
Yes.
Okay. The guy who actually was the first billion-dollar corporation to accept cryptocurrency, to take Bitcoin way back in the day?
Yes, that's the very same one.
Got it. Okay.
And recently, knew about Overstock about his recently of him accepting the cryptocurrency, but I didn't hear until somewhat recently. So there's mainly he was being pushed. I don't know if like the word, for lack of a better word, I don't really like the word push, but presented as an option by Michael Heiss he was the founder of the Libertarian Mises Caucus.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know much about all the various different caucuses and such. So what you're saying is people are asking him to run. He has not yet said he will, I presume? Right. And I believe he said that he did. He was asked that at PorcFest this year, I believe, and he said that he was very much open to it. Huh. Interesting. And yes, I wonder if he's a better libertarian than John McAfee. I don't know. I don't know enough about either of them to really say. Yeah, as far as I can see, he's not as eccentric, though. Oh no! I mean, how could you rise to the rising to the level of John McAfee for eccentricity would be very, very challenging. With his own cryptocurrency to boot. He's got it locked down. Did that ever come out? We're waiting for it still. Okay. It's been a month now. What was it called? McAfee Bucks or something? I forget what it was called. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I would say so. He seems very well knowledgeable about libertarianism and very smart. Go on YouTube. You can probably find a lot of the talks that he's given at PorcFest and for the Mises Institute as well.
from what I can tell, is that I don't know if he was he's definitely a voluntarist in spirit, like in far like this is very core. That's what he probably wants. I don't know if he was to run for president, though. I don't know if that would be what his platform would be like instantaneously, though. But
yeah, I mean, it seems very speculative at this point, but I'm glad to hear that he's at least interested. I say, people should throw their hats in the ring and let's find out who the best candidate is in 2020.
Right.
I mean, I'm mildly intrigued to see what happens this time. I'm not going to get my hopes up and expect them to do something different, which would be, what they've been doing since 2008 has been nominating former Republican people who've been elected to some kind of office. So it was Bob Barr, who was a U.S. House, I think, representative in 2008, and then in 2012 and 2016, it was Gary Johnson, who was a former Republican governor of New Mexico. Yeah. And so if they continue that trend, well, that won't surprise me in the least. If they actually nominate somebody like an Adam Kokesh or a John McAfee or Patrick Byrne, as you pointed out, then I would say, wow, okay, that's actually kind of exciting. Oh my gosh, maybe the Libertarian Party has a chance of actually having some kind of impact for the ideas of freedom.
I mean, just for example, look at Trump, the showman. I mean, if you can get someone he has the flair, the showman flair that also McAfee has.
For sure. I would love to see Trump debating McAfee on stage. It'll never happen.
Never going to happen.
Because the presidential debates are run by the Republicans and Democrats, and they're never going to
they make those candidates sign a memorandum of understanding that they will not participate in a debate outside of the Commission of Presidential Debates.
So, anything else you want to share tonight about that sort of thing?
Well, I would just say we'll look into them. I don't exactly know if there's an email we could do this send a voice to them, but we thank for using this platform to, as you say, just look into them. My other question I would just ask, for Darryl is he considering running?
I'm considering running a 100-mile race in 2020. The one that I had my eyes on, the Keys 100, I'm not going to be able to do just because...
The Florida Keys?
Florida Keys.
Interesting.
That race is happening 3 days prior to the LP National Convention, and just the travel logistics, it would just wind up being
what month?
Too stressful. May.
You know it's hot down there.
Yes, I'm aware that it gets hot in Florida in May.
It's a sauna, brah.
Hey, thanks for the call, Eric. I appreciate it. Let's go to Dan. He's in Nebraska. Dan, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead. Dan?
Hey, Ian, Darryl, and Conan.
Hey there, you're on the air.
So you mentioned earlier something about those courtroom gurus, right?
Yeah.
So there was something a little similar that I kind of heard about earlier, and I want to know if anybody's ever talked to you about this. I was at a cigar lounge a couple of months ago, and I met this older libertarian gentleman who was filling me in on a bunch of this sort of guru info about how if you change your status from debtor to creditor or something, you don't have to pay income tax anymore. Have you heard anything like that?
Yeah, so this has it sounds like the theory where they'll tell you that your social security number is actually an account number on a secret account that the government has that has millions of dollars in it.
Oh, but it's not just a secret account. It's also publicly traded on the stock exchange.
Yeah,
you just can't see it because it's secret on the public exchange, which secret and public are completely opposite things.
Yeah, so I've heard something about that, Dan.
Is it for real? Because he was telling me he has
what do you
pay
think?
Income tax for 20 years. Well, if it's true that he hasn't had to, then maybe that's worth getting into. But
I also have not paid income tax in about 14 years at this point, and I just haven't filed anything with them. So you got to be careful with these filings. You look at Irwin Schiff, who is the father of Peter Schiff. He died in prison in his 80s. He had written a book probably at least one book, at least one I know of, about his theories around not paying income tax. And I think he was into filing what they call zero returns, where you're filing a return with the IRS and you claim zero somewhere on something or whatever. And ultimately, they put him in prison for that. So essentially, you're filing a false return or whatever is what they consider.
Right, and then there's also the theory that I've heard to where you file some kind of form and then you become a non-resident foreign nationals, something another, and there's all kinds of weird theories about these things, and people wind up getting dinged with basically either perjury or like unsworn falsifications for your filing fraudulent documents with some government entity.
Yeah, I think you would be better off just not even filing, because if you play their game, then you could, you're
arguably submitting to their jurisdiction, right?
Exactly. So do people still smoke cigars?
I've met some who do that, yes.
I saw somebody smoking a cigar on Saturday.
Sorry, say again, Dan?
Yeah. I was going to say, during the day, I want to say that's when it's open. It's like afternoon only kind of store. I can find at least 5 or 6 people there who are just hanging out. And of course, a lot of people come in to just,
How does that business stay open? How do they making their money?
Well, I mean, people come in and they just buy them also and leave the store. So, it's kind of like a lounge and a store at the same time.
Because I know we have a vape store here in Keene, but
there's also a cigar bar right next to the vape store.
Really?
Yes.
There are technically 2 vape stores in Keene, and a third one if you want to count Corner News, which also sells.
Yeah, but they're selling things. They're selling juice, and so I know how they stay open.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know people still smoke cigars.
Dan,
it was a dying art.
Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. No, a couple people were over here a few weeks ago smoking cigars on the front porch. And they didn't have marijuana in them. They were actual.
That's what I mean.
Cigars.
When I see any cigar remnants, it's the wrappings for smoking weed.
For smoking a blunt, which is a real nice way to smoke some weed.
It's full of bull crap. It's full of nasty rag tobacco.
If people are pooping in your weed,
take the tobacco out.
Yeah, I know. It's full of nasty tobacco that you wouldn't want to smoke.
But now you can just get the rolling, the papers that are for blunts.
Cherry flavored.
Blunt wraps.
Bubblegum flavor.
All right, there's more on the way here. You can share your thoughts. Coming up, the Sacha Baron Cohen situation with the new TV series and more. It's Free Talk Live.
Normal blood pressure, naturally. How would that make you feel?
I'm Don from New Mexico. January of 2000, I had a heart attack. Then my real health began going downhill. I had high blood pressure, diabetes, poor vision. I wasn't sleeping well. I was a mess.
Don reports dramatic improvements with Heart and Body Extract.
I started taking Heart and Body Extract. From within a few days, I started sleeping better. My blood pressure normalized. My diabetes normalized. My sleep improved.
Experience these benefits and more when your body heals itself with the assistance of Heart and Body Extract. Order at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305. That's hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305.
And folks, I did not expect this at all. By the 7th, 8th, and 9th day, I saw dramatic improvements from taking Heart and Body Extract.
Heart and Body Extract comes with a 100% ironclad money-back guarantee. Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, July 18th, 2018. Silver is trading at $15.44 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,224 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $26, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,456. Antiwar.com reports while Secretary of the Treasury Steve Mnuchin says that exemptions from U.S. sanctions against Iran will be considered in certain cases, the European Union is apparently not going to be one of them. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo confirmed that he has rejected EU appeals for Iran exemptions. Senior officials from Britain, France, and Germany have all urged the U.S. not to apply the sanctions to EU nations' companies when they start going into effect next month. The EU has passed laws rejecting U.S. sanctions and forbidding their companies from complying with them. Pompeo and Mnuchin told the EU, however, they want unprecedented financial pressure on Iran and that they will not ease any sanctions until they see a tangible change in Iranian policy. Mnuchin says that exemptions are only possible in very specific circumstances where it clearly benefits our national security. He suggested nations that need more time to wind down oil purchases from Iran could be given more time, for instance. India is expected to push hard for such measures, or barring that, a move by the U.S. to release oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to keep oil prices from skyrocketing when Iran is cut off. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. UPI reports the U.S. Treasury Department and IRS announced Monday certain tax-exempt organizations will no longer be required to provide personally identifiable information about donors. Under the change, nonprofit organizations such as labor unions, volunteer fire departments, issue advocacy groups, local chambers of commerce, veterans groups, and community service clubs will no longer be required to list the names and addresses of their donors on Schedule B of their annual returns. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin said Americans should not be required to send the IRS information that it doesn't need in order to effectively enforce our tax laws, and the IRS simply does not need tax returns with donor names and addresses to do its job in this area. Previously, Congress directed the IRS to collect donor information of contributors who gave at least $5,000 to charities that accept tax-deductible contributions. The IRS received a full version of the information, while redacted forms were released publicly. Mnuchin said the change will in no way limit transparency, and the same information will still be made available to the public while protecting donor information. He said this new policy for certain tax-exempt organizations will make our tax system simpler and less susceptible to abuse. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky praised the decision as a positive development for political donors, saying this decision by the IRS is a move in the right direction to end activist regulators' culture of intimidation to silence political speech. More and more states were using these documents to chill political discourse rather than encourage it. House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi said the decision would give the IRS fewer tools to determine whether affected groups are following the law.
Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com.
Reuters reports 4 U.S. states sued the federal government on Tuesday to void a new $10,000 cap on federal deductions for state and local taxes included in President Donald Trump's 2017 tax overhaul. The lawsuit by New York, Connecticut, Maryland, and New Jersey came 7 months after Trump signed the $1.5 trillion overhaul passed by the Republican-led Congress, which cut taxes for wealthy Americans and slashed the corporate tax rate. Critics have said the cap would disproportionately harm blue states that tilt Democrat. Tuesday's lawsuit adds that many legal battles between such states, including several with high tax rates, and the Trump administration, which was accused of unconstitutionally intruding on state sovereignty by imposing the cap. Taxpayers have long typically enjoyed unlimited federal deductions for state and local taxes. Under the cap, individuals and married taxpayers filing jointly who itemize deductions may deduct up to only $10,000 annually for state and local income, property, and sales tax. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
U.S. presidents often take credit for solving complex issues with many moving parts, whether they deserve that credit or not. But how much impact can a sitting president really have on the tides? We all know that presidents like to take credit for the undulations of the briny deep, when it suits them, that is, and we Americans are quick to blame whoever is in power for the multitudinous seas. During Eisenhower's administration in the 1950s, citizens took to the streets to protest his inability to harness the unruly waves, but Ike shifted blame for the tides that year onto a heron that had recently been born with a raven's head. But the truth is, when a president is in office, there's only so much he can do. Sure, the president can bring an amulet with the Eye of Horus to the top of the tallest peak, or spread lamb's blood on the base of an elm tree during a lunar eclipse. In reality, it's hard for anyone to know with true certainty how the tides will play out under any administration. For The Onion, I'm Eliza Hayes.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free. You can bring up anything that you want. Our number here is 855-450. Free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And there's Skype as well. Skype username's LRN.FM. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
We got a lot to talk about here this evening. On the way, the Sacha Baron Cohen new series on Showtime that premiered last, I think it was Sunday. It was Sunday night. I was able to see it this week, and I thought it was pretty hilarious. We'll share more about that with you. We've talked in detail about courtroom drama in the first hour. If you want to comment on that, you're certainly still welcome to do so. But Darryl, you had a story tonight about the universal basic income.
Yeah, well, before we get to that, speaking of courtroom drama, some breaking news out of California, where the California Supreme Court has blocked the measure to divide the state into three.
Oh, okay. So this was the Three Californias proposal that had gotten the requisite number of signatures, correct, to get on the ballot.
Yes.
Somebody filed suit against it. Does it say who the entity was that filed the suit? Was it like the state of California, Attorney General or something like that, or the Secretary of State?
The articles, and I've got two different articles pulled up, one from ABC and one from Fox, both from California affiliates, and they don't specify who the parties were. Story from ABC 7. KGO says the California Supreme Court blocked a measure that would divide the state into three from appearing on the ballot. The court's ruling states that because there are questions about the proposition's validity, the potential harm of putting it on the ballot now outweighs concerns about delaying a vote until a future election. The proposal, led by Tim Draper, would split the country's most populous state into three new states of near equal population: Northern California, California, and Southern California. And then they explain what the areas would be. Opponents sued. They just say opponents. Sued, arguing the proposal abolishes the state's constitution, which cannot be done via ballot initiative.
Okay, so how
and the
can it
article
be done?
Article from ABC doesn't say. The article from Fox says that the measure did get enough signatures and was certified for the ballot. But the article from ABC says there were questions about something.
They would not have sued if it hadn't gotten enough signatures, right? That would have been a waste of money.
If
it hadn't gotten the signatures, it wouldn't go on the ballot, so end of story.
In some places, the way you challenge the validity of signatures is to file a suit of some sort.
Yeah, that wasn't what the basis was, though, in this case.
That does not appear to be what happened.
They were just saying
here.
this would be illegal if it passed, is what they were saying. And the Supreme Court agreed.
So my thinking, and again, not a lawyer, but since California does allow constitutional amendments to be petitioned onto a ballot, and that's different from just an initiative.
Right. I wonder if it's a higher level of threshold. Okay.
And it also requires a higher number, I believe, of signatures to of the vote to wind up passing.
Okay.
Could probably somehow do some kind of constitutional amendment.
But it ain't happening this year.
Not happening this year, but then again, it would probably get challenged, would probably again go to the state Supreme Court, and the state Supreme Court would be making a determination of whether or not. But in either case, it would still require the U.S. Congress to authorize California to split into 2 or 3 or 75.
We were talking about this off the air, and I asked the question, could a state just simply abolish itself? And you said no.
Not without congressional approval.
The federal government would have to tell them they have to stick around, even though the states, some of them, formed the federal government initially.
Correct.
The Union,
but the Constitution,
Union of States.
Constitution specifies that no new state can be created from an existing state without
How
approval.
would they do that, though? Like, if the state... in this crazy fantasy, right, where the state of New Hampshire... this year, at the next session or whatever, they decide we're going to abolish ourselves. We're going to shut everything down. We're shutting down the state government. Everybody, go home. You're not going to get any more paychecks. If you keep coming in, you're not getting... The power's probably going to get turned off at some point because we're not paying the bill. So you're not going to get a paycheck. What is the federal government going to do?
We're going to have to go to war, Ian.
No, speculation.
What, and occupy the state house with troops?
Hold on. Speculation... based on what happened 100 and however many years ago, the federal government would probably come in and set up its own government and say, we are the official government for the state of New Hampshire.
After they burn everything down. Because they've got to.
Why would they burn the buildings down?
Well,
why
not?
It's
a nice golden dome.
Not
over there.
all of them.
Melt the gold down and then pay off some of the debt.
Okay, but wouldn't that be amazing if that actually happened? That's a crazy thing to think about.
It would be amazing if they melted that big giant eagle to pay off
if
debt.
The federal government actually came in and physically took over a state that said, yeah, we don't want to exist anymore, and then they came in and tried to run the state government. can you imagine how messed up that would be? People... I can't imagine would see it as legitimate at all, number one. So they would be...
Some people would. Some people wouldn't.
But if of course that's true. But if the government were to actually do something like that, that would be an indicator that people were sick and tired of the government.
Correct.
And would not recognize the rule of the federal government. So that's what I'm saying. I don't care. As a secessionist, I don't care, and I know you are as well.
Right.
I don't care about asking the federal government for permission. Whatever the people of this area say goes is what should go.
Right.
And we shouldn't be worrying ourselves about what the federal government's going to say or what the federal government's going to do. We know there's a chance they're going to be a problem, but they're spread so damn thin right now with troops all over the world.
And this is one of the reasons that I'm sort of starting to become a fan of this whole Article 5 Convention of States sort of thing. And then I hope that the fearmongers are right, that such a convention would just be a runaway and they'd completely rewrite the Constitution. All right, excellent. Now it's a chance for us to not ratify and then we leave the existing United States.
Wait, so New Hampshire could get out of the United States if there were a constitutional convention called?
So the theory from the Birchers.
Okay.
That's the John Birch Society for people that might not be familiar with the term.
It's a right-wing group.
Right-wing group, kind of conspiracy leaning. The
UN's behind everything, according to the Birchers.
Yes, and they're turning the frogs gay. Fluoride in the water, everything.
Okay.
Blah, da, da, da.
I'm on board.
The claim by them is that an Article 5 Convention of the States would lead to some runaway thing that would just completely rewrite the Constitution and throw out what we currently have. Mm-hmm. Well, all right. Well, the current document says that things have to be ratified. Yeah, but they could write a new document saying that something else and a different ratification. Okay, so you're saying that
like
put
in
a
universal
state,
basic income and universal health care.
But you're saying that, this new thing, certain states would still need to say we ratify or not. Like if it creates a completely new reconstituted United States, then states could opt not to
commit.
Join.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, and that's a problem. No, that's a feature.
Awesome. Hell
that's
yeah.
a feature, not a bug. So now we can secede without actually having seceded.
All right.
We're just not rejoining your new thing.
Now, people have been calling about this constitutional convention for years. And I remember at one point the claim was made, somebody called in to say that over all these years that people have been calling for constitutional convention at the nation level, that there have been enough states who've called for it, but it's never actually happened.
Right, because
I don't know if it's true, but that's what they claim.
The
But
according to the official documentation from the federal Secretary of State, some of those calls have been rescinded, and there's never actually been at one time
3/4
the certain number of states.
It's 3/4, right?
I forget if it's 3/4 or 3/5, but whatever it is,
it's a lot, yeah.
You know, like at any given time, there's not been the number because some of those have been rescinded.
So, according to the Los Angeles Times, here's the answer to our question earlier. The challenge was filed last week. You want to talk about a quick toss? I mean, they just chucked that thing right out. This court challenge in California, filed by the Planning and Conservation League and Environmental Group. So they're worried about their precious environment would go bad if they had 3 Californias instead of
because
one.
then the federal government wouldn't own 80% of each of the states or something.
3 states would kill the gay frogs.
855-450 free, like freedom. You can join us on Free Talk Live.
She seems happier. Her fur is so much shinier, silkier, softer. She has really mellowed a lot.
Sheba is 105 lean pounds of shiny, smooth, happy dog for life.
The shedding has stopped. The itching has stopped.
Since 2001, we've helped more than 250,000 dogs get over their nutritional deficiency miseries.
And saved our customers bazillions in vet bills.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
The omega-3 fatty acids, flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food. Dynovite is nutrition.
Dynovite for life.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dynovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Imagine this is you. You're working late when you get an alert on your smartphone. Your motion-activated Blink security camera picked up something at home. You pop open the Blink app and see the silhouette of a man peering through your kitchen window. You dial 911 and the police roll. The job of a home security system is to help stop crime, which is why I chose Blink. Get 3 Blink cams for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
The easiest thing in the world for a reader to do is to stop reading, according to the late, great Barney Kilgore, who became managing editor of the Wall Street Journal in 1941 and grew the paper's circulation from 33,000 to 1 million by the 60s. And he'd be pleased to know that his paper is one of the few that people now pay to read online. Someone else pre-internet who realized that attention is fragile? Motown Records founder Berry Gordy. In the early 60s, when his label dominated the charts, he'd bring a dozen real people into the Hitsville, USA studios and audition songs. And he'd ask, if you were down to your last dollar, would you spend it on this record or would you buy a sandwich? Today, attention span seems like an oxymoron. For tips on cutting through the clutter, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you want. Just dial in toll free. Take control of the airwaves here. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. Here tonight, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
Liberty.menu is an excellent tool for those of you who are liberty-minded folks. And what I mean by that is individuals who reject the initiation of force and who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. If that describes you, you qualify to use liberty.menu. So get on over there and get your business listed so other liberty-minded folks, libertarians, voluntarists, liberty-loving anarchists, so they can find what you do. They might be needing the service or product that you're offering, but they don't know you exist. So if you're a customer or want to be a customer, or if you're a business owner, or even an events coordinator or a digital content creator, there's listings for you over at liberty.menu. So head on over there, list your stuff. It's completely free to do it, so there's no reason not to do this. Liberty.menu as we continue here. Oh, and by the way, if you're a Free Talk Live listener, you can use code FTL on your user profile at liberty.menu, and you'll get a special user badge, Free Talk Live badge.
It's the best badge.
It's huge.
It's pretty nice. All right, so let's see. We were talking about the three Californias. They are not going forward. The judges, I guess the Supreme Court there in California, heard a case. It was a Supreme Court,
State
right?
Supreme Court, yes.
They heard that case fast. Apparently, the Planning and Conservation League, an environmental group, brought the case. It was heard within a week, or filed within a week, or last week, and then heard today, I guess. And they shot it down, saying, no, you can't have a ballot measure to ask people whether they want to have California split into 3 different states, because that would abolish the Constitution, so that's not the way you should do it, which suggests that there is a way to do it.
There's a way, we're just not going to tell you the way.
Right, yeah.
They might not know, because it's never been done before, right?
It's certainly never been done in California before. I mean, we've had states split before, right? Like West Virginia and Virginia.
Right.
Split.
Well, what happened there was the legitimate government of Virginia, and I'm using air quotes there for people not watching the webcam, the legitimate government of Virginia seceded from the fake government that seceded from the Union.
And the fake government was West Virginia?
No.
Okay.
The original Virginia.
Right. So, according to the Union loyalist, Virginia's secession was the fake government. The legitimate government then seceded from the seceding states, or the seceding counties.
Virginia.
And then... No, West Virginia claimed to be the legitimate government seceding from the seceding area.
Okay.
So they're saying, we didn't leave the Union, or we didn't leave them, they left us.
Stop, do it a Virginia accent.
Do you know a Virginia accent?
You could do it Alabama.
Probably, but not under pressure.
Okay.
So that was a little different.
Okay.
To where, that was a seceding place, seceding from a seceding place that didn't secede.
What about the Dakotas? Were those always separate, or were they together?
Those were split when they became states. So there was the Dakota Territory, and then when they became states, they were admitted simultaneously.
Okay.
Maine split off from Massachusetts. That was some kind of act of Congress because a slave state was being admitted.
So this has never happened before then.
Kentucky broke away from Virginia, and I forget exactly what the circumstances were around that, but again, I think it was just straight up act of Congress.
It did happen, Ian, and there was that big old war.
According to the story at the Los Angeles Times, a constitutional revision is more sweeping than a statute or constitutional amendment because it changes the basic plan of government. More signatures would have been needed to qualify the ballot measure as a constitutional amendment. But maybe that's what they're going to go for.
Yeah, how many more signatures?
It doesn't say that.
And Darryl, who was the...
And I don't think they have time to wind up getting those
Who was
extra.
the group who was heading this initiative?
It was Tim Draper.
Some rich guy.
So, and would he have to collect signatures from zero if it was another year?
Yes, absolutely.
I wonder how much money he spent on signature hunters.
Draper is 60 years old. He was an early investor in tech companies, became wildly successful, including Skype. He's also one of the nation's most ardent supporters of cryptocurrencies, such as Bitcoin, according to the story here.
He's a terrorist.
No, he doesn't work for the federal government. But, Conan, to answer your question, every initiative starts from 0 signatures.
Well, I mean, if he already collected 500,000 this year,
that's only for this year.
That's only for
that one
this
specific
year.
proposal. So he would have to make a new proposal.
Correct.
There be a constitutional amendment or some sort of modification, and then put that forward with however many signatures that requires.
Right. But what I'm asking is, you have
you
to
don't
collect
get to carry them over.
But yeah, if it takes more than 1 year to collect the amount of signatures that you needed, that is impossible.
You only get a certain period of time
Right.
to collect your signatures.
Right. It's over.
And if you don't collect them, you don't then get to say, oh, well, when we try this next year, we've already got all of the... Nope. Everything starts from 0.
What an absolute S show. This is what this is like to me. This is like you're in an abusive relationship. You want a divorce with your spouse. And it's like, all right, what do? Oh, my spouse is the courtroom and the prosecutor and the judge and the
jury
defense and the jury and the bailiff and the whole
and
nine.
the court reporter.
Yeah, and the city reporter, so reporting on the court case, and it's like, how this is,
and the stenographer and the courtroom artist. So when they put the little devil horns on you in the official courtroom picture, well, that's what the official court person showed.
What an absolute,
must be true.
What an absolute scam.
We got Gene, the Christian anarchist, breathing into his microphone. Hello, Gene. You're on Free Talk Live.
He must be in his helicopter flying through the air as we speak.
Maybe he is. Gene, are you there?
That's helicopter noise. I can
Gene?
Going once, going twice. All right, we'll check back with him later.
Maybe he's talking to ground control.
Normally we don't screen the people.
Control to Mr. Gene.
If you're on Discord and you've called on Discord before and you've been fine, there's no real usual reason to screen it. But anyway, we'll check back with him. So toll-free number here tonight, 855-450-FREE. I don't know, is there anything else to say about California secession here?
I'm in support of it. But yeah, let's talk about this universal basic income because it's been in the news for a while. All
over the news for like the last year at least, and it seems to be getting
trying
more.
It.
It seems not everyone's trying it. They want it though. People want the free money.
Well, the one country that tried it
failed on it.
Reneged on it.
Finland, right?
This year is the last year. It's up.
Finland? It was
I think it was Finland. Yeah.
Yeah.
But right now,
they stopped before it was even scheduled to be over.
Well,
they aborted.
They sat down and looked at it. It's like, hey.
The only way for this to continue is to increase
taxes by 30%.
And there's not 30% to raise taxes.
Because they're pretty heavily taxed in those
And never mind.
places.
So who is trying to do this? Because already I have a story from Chicago. One of their lawmakers is trying to do it.
Stockton's going to do it too, isn't it? Stockton, California? There's some town in California.
They're going to do some kind of pilot program that's going to be privately funded to see how
by
it
a
works.
Facebook founder.
But it's an article from FEE talking about how horrible UBI is.
This is the first story that I have heard of to actually be against this universal basic income. I mean, we're obviously against it here on Free Talk Live. Right. We'll continue here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. And the Skype username, if you want to join us there, is LRN.FM. This is Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
If you like alkaline water, or know someone that does, you're going to love the Dylan Living Water Bottle. It creates alkaline water on the go while reducing plastic waste and saving you money. Made with surgical-grade stainless steel, the Dylan bottle increases the pH up to 9 to deliver both alkaline and antioxidant water anywhere you want it. Alkaline water is healthier, tastes better, and can even boost energy. The Dylan bottle makes it easy and affordable to be healthy and achieve optimal hydration. Get your Dylan bottle today at dyln.co. That's dyln.co.
Free Talk Live.
There's going to be no food by February.
Oh, that seems a little extreme. I find that hard to believe.
Well, watch it happen. Hope you find Christ.
Oh, good luck, buddy. Thanks.
What really turned me away from religion was the fact that most of them are so intolerant and nasty.
What do you mean?
Your life will suck unless you find Jesus. Well, I had Jesus a long time ago, and he didn't really do anything for me, so I got away from that.
Right, and I can tell you that if you want to have that attitude with people, like, well, you better find Christ, or you're going to burn in hell.
Yeah.
Then you know.
Good luck converting people.
Yeah, I really want to hang out with people like you, there, Keith. I really want to hang out with people like you. So I'm sorry to those good Christians out there listening that aren't like Keith. But it's the loudmouths like Keith that do real damage to your religion and how people feel about it.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. If you want to join us on the radio, you can. Our number here is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Coming up, Sacha Baron Cohen is back at it with his characters that he basically becomes and interviews unwitting dupes in the political field.
Do you think he becomes them as an acting or
like a method actor or
do
whatever?
you think
From what I've heard, he is a very method actor.
Meaning he is in the character whether the recording or not.
Because
his girlfriend, during the time that he was preparing to film Bruno, apparently his girlfriend at the time almost left him because he was in character for like 9 months.
I am of the opinion that those are actually his personal personas. Those are actually people he is acting how he would want to act if he could in public.
I mean, because there's different personas that have different opinions.
He's saying things that he would want to say in public. No, they're pretty much all the same. They all lean the same way.
Oh, no, sir. No.
Bruno was a flaming gay guy, which is a completely different character than
Borat, who was a very conservative, kind of sex-obsessed, guy from Kazakhstan or whatever.
My sister is number 4 prostitute in all of Kazakhstan.
And Ali G's just a dumbass.
I think they're all relative. I think they're all related to each other.
No. So
okay, well, you know what?
We'll get into it.
I can't watch
he's got 4 new characters now on this new series. So I'll tell you about them coming up here when we get into that. But we're going to get into universal basic income.
Yeah.
But I did check with Gene, the Christian anarchist, and he is out of the helicopter.
Yay!
Gene, you're back with us here on Free Talk Live via the Discord on-air call-in line room. Go ahead.
Hello, guys.
Hey there.
Yeah, you guys mentioned Irwin Schiff earlier, and I knew Irwin, and I wanted to kind of set the record straight on just what it was that he taught.
Okay, sure.
And what it was, what his position was.
Yeah, I actually had his book, but I never read it. So.
and how he got screwed by the federal government into basically taking his life away from him.
Yeah, all right.
But the bottom line is, Irwin Schiff studied the tax code. Now, he went to prison one time, he got back out, and after he got back out, he studied the tax code more aggressively, and he came up. By the way, the book that he wrote that he's very famous for is called The Federal Mafia.
Didn't it get banned at one point?
No, when he was under indictment, they told him he couldn't sell the book. So technically, it's not really banned. He just couldn't sell it. So he made it free at that point. He just put it on the website and said, here, anybody wants it can have it free. But the reason that they attacked him was because he knew the IRS tax code better than any IRS agent or IRS attorney. And he could tear them inside out using that tax code, because the tax code, if you read it as a lawyer would read it and, look at it as the legal definition of everything, there's just no way that mumbo jumbo garbage can mean that we have to pay taxes. And that was his position. But and we really don't have time to go into all of the nuances here. But
Gene,
I tell you,
you're referring to income tax or taxes in general?
Income tax, because he knew the IRS tax code, and I knew Irwin. I mean, I met him. I used to go talk to him at his seminars and stuff because I lived in Reno, Nevada. He lived in Las Vegas, Nevada, and so Irwin I consider to be a friend. And anyway, there's too much to get into for me to explain what he knew about the tax code. But I'm telling you from personal experience, he knew the tax code better than the IRS. And that's why when they decided to shut him up and put him in prison, or, charge him with crimes so that they could put him in prison, the judge made sure that Irwin could never bring up the law. He could never talk about what his reasoning was for the position that he took. Basically, everything that would lead to intent, because intent is one of the things you have to prove in a court of law. So anything that would lead to his intent was completely barred from entering the courtroom. He couldn't talk about tax code law. He couldn't.
That sounds like a federal courtroom to me. They generally will basically not allow you to defend yourself in the way you want to, like what happened during the Ross Ulbricht trial and other places.
That's correct. And if he had been able to bring that stuff up to the jury, I think he would have walked scot-free, and that's what they were scared to death of. I mean,
these are the same juries who, wasn't it Jose Padilla, who they came back wearing red, white, and blue in this coordinated guilty hearing kind of thing where they basically sent this man up the river?
Schiff. Irwin Schiff was a very charismatic guy who really had a way with words. And if they had let loose in front of that jury, they would have fallen in love with him and they would have cut him free. I have absolutely no doubt about that. And that's the reason that they couldn't allow him to do any of that.
Right.
Because, you know, they were looking for a conviction. They were looking for an example so that people wouldn't. And that's one of the reasons that I finally gave up and started paying, because I realized at that point, they are the federal mafia. They don't care about law. They don't care about rules. If their own law says that you can do something, but they don't want you doing it, they're going to set you up one way or another and throw away the keys, because that's what they are.
They do whatever they want.
After hearing a juror say that they would have convicted Martin Luther King and Gandhi because they both broke the law.
Yeah, this was in New Hampshire.
I have zero faith in juries.
Yeah, it's very rare to see a jury do the right thing. Although, I do actually have a jury.
Judge.
Yeah, I do. Well,
I don't have any faith in judges either.
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah.
If you need a case judged on a fact of law or an opinion, about an interpretation of law, a judge is going to do a better job in a lot of cases than a jury will. But if you need a case thrown out because it's immoral, then only the jury can do something like that.
And anything that has to do with rights, you don't want to leave that in the hands of a judge.
I agree with that, no doubt about it. But if you're trying to, on a sort of obscure legal fact or question or whatever, sometimes the judge is going to be a better judge there. Hey, thanks, Gene, for the call tonight. I appreciate it. In fact, speaking of good jury news, I do have a headline here, and we're not going to get into it because we've got other stuff that we need to talk about. But it's here to talk about in the future if we get a chance. Georgia jury recently found a marijuana grower not guilty.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we can tell you that's in Georgia. So we can tell you more about that later. And as I said, we got Sacha Baron Cohen's new show to talk about. But Darryl, let's get into the UBI story, Universal Basic Income. Finally, a piece from, in this case, the Foundation for Economic Education, fee.org, against UBI. After we've seen all this touting in the mainstream media about, well, this is going to happen. We've got to have UBI. Look at all these people who say we should have UBI. It's Richard Branson. It's Bill Gates. It's all these, wealthy people. Here's the Facebook founder, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so author of this article says the idea of government providing income for all citizens is gaining currency. While today, universal guaranteed income is mostly pressed by the left, Milton Friedman once made an argument for it as well. But the proposal is blind to the predictable cost of an unprecedented social engineering experiment that would separate citizens from one of the most important sources of human flourishing. Freeing people from the necessity to work may sound like the last word in progressive altruism or in the efficient rationalization of social welfare, but it would undermine a pillar of our own personal and social order. Work has benefits beyond earning income. It provides the satisfaction of achievement, the discipline of focus on the desires of others, and the social bounds that our fellow workers provide. The left today often dismisses the virtues of work. Former Secretary of Labor Robert Wright.
Well, that's because there's a certain group of people that don't want to work. There's a certain group of people that they're not interested in the sense of accomplishment. They'd rather get a sense of accomplishment from, playing a video game or something like that. They're not interested in getting out there and serving people and having people appreciate what they do. They'd rather just make some art or something like that, and they, not care whether people appreciate the art or. I'm speculating here, right? But there's a certain type of person.
Right.
There's a guy at a left libertarian group
called
who's
lazy.
He's argued against work in general, just like against work.
He wants the computers to do it, the robots.
Yeah, more coming up here in moments. We'll talk about UBI. It's Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite for life.
Pick up 2 tubes of Doggo Suds.
Get the 3rd tube free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Doggo Sud shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe. Great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Doggo Suds. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
This is Jessica Armand, founder of My Magic Mud. Our team helped organize a successful effort to remove fluoride from our city's water supply. This is our passion. My Magic Mud Oral Care purifies and brightens your smile naturally. GCN listeners, please support my family business by purchasing our products from your local health food store. We're also available at CVS Pharmacy, or visit us at mymagicmud.com and take 10% off now with coupon code GCN10.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. So much fun, you'll forget you have a wife and kids. $39.95 and free economy shipping. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter. Get your Bug Assault today.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can dial in toll-free here. You can bring up whatever is on your mind. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well at Skype username LRN.FM. There's also the Discord on-air call-in line room at discord.lrn.fm, so jump in there if you like. Don't forget, Bitcoin.com would like you to know about Save It Purse, now accepting Bitcoin Cash. We've talked about SaveItPurse.com for years here on Free Talk Live, but not just talked about it, we've used them. I don't know if you use them, Conan, but Darryl and I have definitely used SaveItPurse.com. Many dozens, me over, I think, 130 times in the last 3 years to save 20, 25, 30% or more. Sometimes is up to 33% is the maximum discount you can get. I pretty much shoot for 20 because usually that'll get my item taken and purchased for me within usually the first day. But you can decide. So, like, there's something right now that I put up for 33% off because I really don't need it anytime soon. So we'll see if somebody bites on it. It's actually been up there for a few weeks, so it's got nothing. But usually at 20%, man, you'll get it. But previously to this summer, it had been Bitcoin BTC only on saveatpurse.com. Now you can use Bitcoin Cash. So if you want to save on fees, not pay the excessive sometimes Bitcoin fees at BTC, you can use Bitcoin Cash to fund your account at saveatpurse.com and save big time on your Amazon purchases. That's saveatpurse.com, saveatpurse.com. Darryl, you're sharing with us the story about the UBI, the so-called Universal Basic Income from the Foundation of Economic Education, who is against it.
Yeah, so again, the headline from FEE, a guaranteed income would undermine the social virtues of work. Continuing on, he says, the left today often dismisses the virtues of work. Former Secretary of Labor Robert Reich is typical in saying that most jobs today do not provide fulfillment or creativity, but this claim just shows his impoverished imagination and empathy. One does not need to write an article to exercise creativity. Any job with any discretion allows people the opportunity to think about how to serve strangers better. And even jobs without much discretion can give a sense of fulfillment by being done well. The breadth of the human need for employment can be measured in the great unhappiness that unemployment causes, even in most generous European welfare states. Moreover, work promotes the self-discipline required by society that is not disciplined by pervasive authority. Bourgeoisie virtues, which whenever I see that word, just because of the way it's spelled, the first time I ever saw it written, I thought it was Burgios. And then I heard
you're from the South.
Well, no, hooked on phonics. Like, if you see the word, you would not think.
You don't know it's French.
That's French. You don't pronounce half the letters, and the ones you do pronounce, you don't pronounce the way they look.
I agree. It's if you don't know it's French, then you don't know how to pronounce it.
Bourgeoisie virtues like responsibility, accountability, and self-control that have long been acknowledged to spring from work help build the social norms that substitute for coercion.
Man, I can't imagine what life would be like for me if I hadn't been working as early as I was. I mean, I was working for my parents before I was legally able to work.
You'd be a lazy slob, Ian.
Well, I think that would be more likely. I think it would be
that's
much
what
more likely.
I think the problem that we have in this world is that we have too many individuals who did not work at a young age.
Absolutely.
They did not have the drive and the incentive to actually pay for things that they wanted because they were already provided for them by their parents. So they weren't out there mowing lawns and doing other services to collect money to pay for video games, or however you would pay for video games. And so you have a whole generation. You have the millennials and the snowflakes who have never worked ever.
Well, I mean, there's millennials who've worked at this point, but
and some of them can't get jobs. Like for my daughter had extreme difficulty getting a job because of the age limitations. No one was hiring anybody 16 and
she
below.
Was too young is what you were saying.
Too young.
She was trying to get a job.
And then she didn't have any work experience for all of the entry-level jobs that now require work experience.
Yeah, that didn't help at all.
That's a thing now?
Oh, yeah, it's most definitely a thing. Almost every job now wants some kind of work experience.
And if there's competition, if there's 5 other people, applying for the same job.
But they don't want too much work experience.
Then
you're not qualified.
You have 4 25-years who have worked at McDonald's or wherever, and then you have my daughter who's never worked a day in her life. Well, she's worked, but she's never worked in the public sector. Or she's never worked.
Never had a W-2 job.
Correct. And so who are they going to hire?
To this day, she hasn't had a W-2 job?
Oh, no.
He's saying when she was applying for work, when she was still living in Keene.
So somebody did hire her.
Oh, yeah, she figured it out, but it took a lot longer than I had to. I didn't jump through all these hoops.
The first job I applied for, I got in 1996. I was at Kmart. I got the exact job I wanted. I wanted to work in the electronics department at Kmart. It was right down the street from my house. Totally got that job.
I mean, I was always working. There was something always available to do.
All right, let's continue.
Continuing on, and habits of punctuality, thrift, and fair exchange do not stop at the workplace door, but spill over into personal life. There's more than a touch of Rosian romanticism in the devalorization of work, as if paid labor forges chains that keep us from realizing our perfect natural state rather than providing guide ropes for better behavior. For many people,
the natural state is like a shrieking monkey, right? Going around flinging poo, attacking the people you don't like, and taking the things you want, right? Like that's the state of nature. This is rising above that.
Yeah,
the,
but that's
the idea of work.
But we have government, Ian. That'll keep us from flying poo at each other, flinging.
Yeah, go look at the prisons. They got plenty of government there, and they're throwing poo.
And the school system.
Did they do that in the schools?
That's where the abuse starts. That's where the bullying starts.
No, but I mean throwing poo. Maybe in the bathroom.
I'm thinking insults. I'm thinking
the only
insults
time
and
I've
punches.
ever seen anything throw poo, it was a monkey at the zoo. I've never seen a human do that.
You didn't work in a prison, though, right? You worked.
I did.
But you worked in a short term because prison. It
in
wasn't
Pennsylvania.
In
Pennsylvania, every incarceration facility is called a prison.
But you were there on a short-term place. It was like a 1-year place, right?
I quit after 9 months. It wasn't. I got hired for a short term.
I mean the people who were imprisoned there. Well, or was it a full-on prison with people there for 25, 30, 50 years?
So the maximum sentence that they would keep someone there was up to 2 years.
So it's more of like a jail.
It was the county prison.
Yeah.
So it was people with misdemeanors.
Right.
People awaiting trial on felonies. There was one guy in there because he kept playing the system. He was in there for at least 5 years.
Yeah.
Going through some trials, but he just kept playing the system of firing
his sentence for 2 years and then get another sentence for 2 years.
No, he kept firing his lawyers mid-trial and then hiring a new lawyer and then getting the judge to declare a mistrial and some other stuff.
Why? Just because he wanted 3 hots and a cot? Basically, he was totally institutionalized, wanted to stay in the prison?
Oh, no, he was facing life sentence.
Oh, I see.
But he was running drugs out of the county jail, and he had some of the prison guards helping him.
And he wanted to stay there.
He wanted to stay there instead of going to the state facility where he would have gone once he was sentenced.
I see.
By the way, chat room has called me out as far as labeling the millennials and the Zers as not working and as lazy. He says that he knows plenty of Zers who are hardworking and are always looking for overtime, and it got them they got that college to pay off.
Oh, that's Dan in Nebraska.
Now, I will say that
I'm calling bull. I'm calling BS. I've worked with these guys, and they are, they're younger and they haven't worked a whole lot, but I have worked with young people before who were going to make it in the world. The ones that I have recently worked with.
Not so much.
Not so much. They are always looking for time off. They're always looking for a way out. They're lazy as sin.
Shortcuts
all day long. They're always looking for a break. You might. All right, tell me where you work, Dan, because in the real world, no.
I will say that when I worked hospital security, there were people in the mental institution portion that would smear their poo on the walls.
Yeah, there you go.
But they never actually flung it at anyone.
Yeah.
Let's continue with this article.
It has happened in prisons.
Oh, I'm sure it's happened everywhere.
Right. Well, the point was, Conan was like, the government would stop that
like,
from happening. And I said, no, in the places where the most government is where it happens.
Most humans aren't flinging poo at other humans because they're decent
I was
humans.
being sarcastic, right?
Yeah.
Government's causing this nonsense. It's not going to prevent us from being better people.
Right. Government's prisons are bringing people back to a state of nature rather than...
Because people become reliant on the protective nature of government, taking care of them, feeding them, telling them when to wake up, telling them when to go outside and do some jogging. Yeah, I mean, this is what we need. We need the challenge, and we need the incentive to work and to make money and to better ourselves. If everyone is taking care of everything, like UBI, what's the incentive to even wake up in the morning?
For many people, work also provides a crucial social network. Colleagues on the job are sounding boards, role models, and advisors in times of need. At a time when loneliness has been called a social crisis, it's the height of folly to undertake a program that will make it easier for people to drop out of social interactions and into social isolation.
Right, because the people that don't want to work, if they're getting a subsidy every month, are going to work less often or quit if they can afford it. More coming up here in moments. We got hour number 3 on the way. Plenty of time for your thoughts on the virtue of work. This is Free Talk Live.
If you owe any money to the IRS, you need to call *1234. That's *1234. Uncle Sam has the power to make your life miserable. You could stop the IRS collections process right now by calling *1234. When you call the Tax Defense Center, you'll get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate your back taxes, including penalties and interest. *1234. *1234 could save you thousands on your back taxes. You could also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you have entered into a payment plan and can't make the payments. It's your hard-earned money. Stop Uncle Sam right now. Make the call that could help you end the worry today. *1234. That's *1234. *1234. *1234.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keenan, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, July 18th, 2018. Silver is trading at $15.44 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,224 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $26, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,456. Antiwar.com reports while Secretary of the Treasury Steve Mnuchin says that exemptions from U.S. sanctions against Iran will be considered in certain cases, the European Union is apparently not going to be one of them. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo confirmed that he has rejected EU appeals for Iran exemptions. Senior officials from Britain, France, and Germany have all urged the U.S. not to apply the sanctions to EU nations' companies when they start going into effect next month. The EU has passed laws rejecting U.S. sanctions and forbidding their companies from complying with them. Pompeo and Mnuchin told the EU, however, they want unprecedented financial pressure on Iran and that they will not ease any sanctions until they see a tangible change in Iranian policy. Mnuchin says that exemptions are only possible in very specific circumstances where it clearly benefits our national security. He suggested nations that need more time to wind down oil purchases from Iran could be given more time, for instance. India is expected to push hard for such measures, or barring that, a move by the U.S. to release oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to keep oil prices from skyrocketing when Iran is cut off. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. UPI reports the U.S. Treasury Department and IRS announced Monday certain tax-exempt organizations will no longer be required to provide personally identifiable information about donors. Under the change, nonprofit organizations such as labor unions, volunteer fire departments, issue advocacy groups, local chambers of commerce, veterans groups, and community service clubs will no longer be required to list the names and addresses of their donors on Schedule B of their annual returns. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin said Americans should not be required to send the IRS information that it
government doesn't need in order to effectively enforce our tax laws, and the IRS simply does not need tax returns with donor names and addresses to do its job in this area. Previously, Congress directed the IRS to collect donor information of contributors who gave at least $5,000 to charities that accept tax-deductible contributions. The IRS received a full version of the information, while redacted forms were released publicly. Mnuchin said the change will in no way limit transparency, and the same information will still be made available to the public while protecting donor information. He said this new policy for certain tax-exempt organizations will make our tax system simpler and less susceptible to abuse. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky praised the decision as a positive development for political donors, saying this decision by the IRS is a move in the right direction to end activist regulators' culture of intimidation to silence political speech. More and more states were using these documents to chill political discourse rather than encourage it. House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi said the decision would give the IRS fewer tools to determine whether affected groups are following the law. Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com. Reuters reports 4 U.S. states sued the federal government on Tuesday to void a new $10,000 cap on federal deductions for state and local taxes included in President Donald Trump's 2017 tax overhaul. The lawsuit by New York, Connecticut, Maryland, and New Jersey came 7 months after Trump signed the $1.5 trillion overhaul passed by the Republican-led Congress, which cut taxes for wealthy Americans and slashed the corporate tax rate. Critics have said the cap would disproportionately harm blue states that tilt Democrat. Tuesday's lawsuit adds that many legal battles between such states, including several with high tax rates, and the Trump administration, which was accused of unconstitutionally intruding on state sovereignty by imposing the cap. Taxpayers have long typically enjoyed unlimited federal deductions for state and local taxes. Under the cap, individuals and married taxpayers filing jointly who itemize deductions may deduct up to only $10,000 annually for state and local income, property, and sales tax. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
As a police officer, I constantly live in fear that I might be filmed brutalizing a civilian. It's something you know from the time you're a cadet. The slightest civil rights infraction in front of anyone who's looking, and the next thing you know, you're surrounded by cameras and trending on Twitter. No cop should have to worry about that. Practically every precinct I know has somebody serving desk duty just for acting on deeply rooted prejudices when somebody had a recording device on them. It happened to my partner, and it even happened to our own captain. One day he's just kicking an unarmed pedestrian in the ribs when all of a sudden people with cameras are everywhere, and then they just start shooting what he was doing, all 6 minutes of it. I can't help but think sometimes that could have been me ending up at that desk job. You never know which day of total impunity will be your last, but for a cop, that's just our daily reality.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. Universal basic income. It's just constantly in the news, this concept that you should just be able to do nothing and the government will pay for it and that'll work out economically. No, it won't. Beyond the fact that the economics is terrible, the incentives are backwards, and it's bad for those reasons, and of course it's coercive. The Foundation for Economic Education is going into other reasons why it's bad, because it'll destroy, for a lot of people, the social, what they call the social virtues of work. Right. All the good things for the individual and for society that work does for people. And so it's Ian, Conan, and Darryl in the studio. We'll continue with that here in just a moment, because you said there's a little bit more.
Yes.
And then we'll get into Sacha Baron Cohen and his new Showtime series that premiered this week. Already, of course, offending pretty much a lot of people who've watched it from various different sides of the political spectrum.
I'm still mad about him about the Ron Paul scene.
We're going first to Patty in Idaho. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Patty.
Now, Mr. Darryl, I had a question for you real quick. I think that you talking about this here article is funny and all, because you use this radio show to beg for money. You beg for money to go over to the Capitol to sit in front of all them legislatures and listen to them all day, and then you beg for money to go do some race. Now, do you think it's working to actually beg for monies, or do you think you ought to work for someone and get a paycheck?
Well, I wouldn't say that I'm begging for money. So you mentioned about a rate. Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm trying to respond to you. You mentioned about the race. So I'm running the New York City Marathon. The money that I am raising is money going to the Innocence Project. That's not money coming to me.
I can confirm that. The Shire Free Church offered... Hold on. I'd like to confirm what it is he's saying here. That way you know he's not lying. I have, on behalf of the Shire Free Church, donated matching funds to this particular fundraiser, and I received a receipt from the Innocence Project. So it's not like you just took the money and spent it on hookers or something like that.
Right. None of that money went toward a hotel. None of that money went toward a
it's just a fundraiser for a charity.
I'm paying for the hotel out of my pocket. I'm paying for my travel down to New York City out of my pocket.
But Patty was correct. You do ask for money to support your crowd-funded lobbyist campaign.
Right.
What's wrong with that?
Begging for money.
What's wrong? He's a crowd-funded lobbyist. The whole idea behind crowdfunding, maybe you've never heard of it before, is where you go to the crowd. You go to the masses and you say, hey, I'm doing this thing that you might like. If you like it, you can support me.
Right.
And that's what's happening there.
That sounds about like someone sitting on the side of the road with a sign asking for money. To me, I'm just being honest.
No, I'm actually doing things.
What are you doing? You sitting in front of the legislature going out to eat, and you just sitting there doing what? Nothing, or maybe talking a time or two?
No, I do not take politicians out to lunch. I don't take politicians out to supper. Are you going to let me respond or not?
Put him on hold. Go ahead.
So I have never actually reached the funding goal for the lobbyist firm, but I'm still at the legislature when they're in session.
What's your goal?
$5,000 a year.
And
I've come close.
And you were at what?
Well, it changes because sometimes there's one-time. Sometimes there's one-time contributions that come in. There are some recurring contributions. Last year, I came
was your
within
first full year,
$500. So I've come close.
Wasn't last year your first full year?
Yeah.
I mean, to hit 95 or 90% of your goal in the first year.
I've come close, but I also, have gone up before I ever created the lobbyist firm.
Right.
So go up, testify on legislation, talk to politicians, and I'm doing this whether I make the goal or not. Right. I'm just trying to help offset some of my costs.
Yeah, why shouldn't he be able to do that, Patty, given that the typical lobbyist is going to corporations, they're getting big,
the typical lobbyist is getting $5,000 to $10,000 per quarter.
Right. They're getting deep pocket corporations like, Budweiser or whoever to sponsor them to go and do their bidding, the corporate bidding. Darryl is providing a service
on behalf of the people.
On behalf of individuals who wish to sponsor him to do this service. And as he pointed out, he would do it anyway as much as he could. This just allows you to devote more time to it.
Right.
To, focus on this rather than it being something you do in your spare time. It can be something you're doing more professionally. I mean, Patty, what's your problem with that?
It's just funny that y'all sit here and talk about your strong work ethic, yet then you're on the radio trying to ask for money to do your work. And I guess that's a different way of looking at it.
Why shouldn't somebody be able to get rewarded for doing work? That's why you work, right? Is so you can take a paycheck home?
I do get a pay. And I'm an old man now. Maybe that's the reason. Everybody does a little different.
Yeah, so it's called the new. This is called a new economy, right? Where you don't have to go through the old methods to make money these days. You can go directly to the individuals who you service. So when you're working for a boss, you got to make the boss happy. You got to do the things the boss wants you to do. Daryl's got what? 50 bosses, 100 bosses, basically? However many donators you have. I don't know.
Probably
I've never
about
asked you.
25, 30.
So a couple dozen, few dozen folks.
Right.
That means not one person gets undue influence on him. If somebody gets mad and says, Darryl, you said something in front of the legislature I don't agree with, they pull their support.
If he doesn't provide customer satisfaction at the end of the day, that's it.
I guess. I just think, again, I think it's not just that. It's them teachers getting the summer off, but they get paid. Or them.
Well, those are government workers. Teachers work for the government, and I agree with
Not
you.
even the government. No, any seasonal worker that only works for like 6 to 8 months and then takes the rest of the time off. I just think working year-round 40 hours a week is the right way to go, but I could be wrong.
You
I
could be wrong,
appreciate it.
but it might be right for you. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, there's a time and a place, and everyone does something different. And I just want to say,
I've had a 40-hour week job before.
You two guys are some of the hardest working guys I know.
Oh, thanks,
guys are constantly busy putting things out. Going filming my stinking court case last week. I mean, that was hours out of your morning.
I had to get up early for that one.
Yeah, that was an early one. It was nice that it was speed trial, but I mean, you guys, I work at a lot of different places. I move around a lot, and I've seen different types of work ethics and work attitudes out there, and I'm impressed.
I mean, I don't do much besides work, and that could be a critique against me. Is that I might
could also
work
be
a
that you
little
don't
too
have.
much?
Yeah, you guys don't have a life either because you're always constantly outputting content.
Yeah, I've had to force myself to
take time
do
off.
stuff other than work, and a lot of the stuff that I do when I'm not working is other stuff that kind of is like work. So
right, like on a Libertarian Party meeting or something, you get the executive committee that you're on, or
then like training for races. There's kind
discipline.
of like there's a lot of discipline. There's a lot of time that gets invested into that.
Yep.
And a lot lot of people, they're like, that's too much. Work. I don't want to do that crap.
Maybe but as far as what you guys do and asking for donations, asking for money for what you provide, I think this is the new way. I
basically every podcast that I listen to.
Yeah, I prefer this method because you actually you're rewarded for your content.
Right. Like every podcast that I listen to, they will pitch at the end, hey, if you like it, head to Patreon. Throw us a couple bucks.
You can't do YouTube anymore. I guess they kind of.
You have to do that because if you're a podcaster, you don't have a if you're not Adam Carolla or Joe Rogan or one of these Hollywood people who's got a huge fan base that's going to listen to every word that comes out of their mouth by default. If you're starting something new from scratch, you've got to ask your fans for support. You're not going to make anything initially. There's no way you can go to an advertiser right out the gate.
A lot of those ad companies, they'll say, "Oh, all right, once you get like 25, 30,000 downloads per episode, then we might have something
That's
for you."
10 times what we get, and we've been podcasting since 2005. Since there was the podcast concept created, we were putting out archives years before that, when you had to manually go and download the archives from the website. So we've been doing digital delivery of audio, MP3 audio, for the entire time Free Talk Live has been on the air, since night number 1 in November of 2002. And you've got to go to the people.
And then when you finally do get advertisers, then perhaps you become beholden to those advertisers.
You got to watch out for that.
You got to watch out for what you say. You got to make them happy because they might drop you overnight.
And having the people supporting you is a way that you can protect yourself from feeling like you've got to be desperate for advertisers and take on questionable clients. And if I hadn't been here, boy, Mark would have taken on some real questionable clients. More coming up.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are circumventing the scrutiny of the crown. This signals a change in the coin of the realm. The Crown uses digital currency to surveil, censor, seize, and destroy wealth at will, so pirate currency must protect us from this weaponized money. We need to move funds further, faster, cheaper, and without third-party observation, basing decisions on an accelerating flow of information. So pirates require nearly instantaneous transactions with no arbitrary limits on volume or artificial influences on fees. Most importantly, a pirate currency must preclude centralization. Otherwise, it will become another link in our chain to the Crown. A superior currency will result in the obsolescence of the coin of the realm and the extinction of the Crown itself. Trade above the grid. Join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Juicy Juice, 100% juice, providing a full serving of fruit in every 4 ounces. Visit us at juicyjuice.com. When it comes to nutrition, kids need both fruits and vegetables every day to stay healthy and grow. For the ideal mix, your kid should have at least 1.5 cups of any veggie or 100% veggie juice, and 1 cup of any fruit or 100% fruit juice a day. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, dial in, toll free, bring up anything that you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. We've been talking about the universal basic income, which ended up turning into a conversation just about new types of funding methods, crowdfunding, in the case of your crowdfunded lobbyist that you do, which is called Liberty Lobby. We didn't mention that in the last segment, I don't think. LibertyLobby.info, I believe, is the current website where you can go and you can listen to Darryl at some audio-only hearings where you'll record the entire hearing where you speak. Maybe not the whole hearing, but at least your portion of speaking.
I will upload my portion. I generally do record the entire thing instead of just, turning the recorder on just before I start speaking and turn it off. And there are a couple of hearings where I did upload the entire testimony.
Because it was that important. You thought you really wanted to put that up there. And then, of course, there's a lot of them that I've video recorded over the last couple of years. I know you've linked to some of that at your site. And then, of course, there's a lot more State House testimony hearings. So if you're into that, if you're into looking at what happens it's an ugly process. I mean, I don't recommend.
There's a reason they say that if you like sausage or laws, never watch how they're made.
Yeah, so if you are into that, then you can go to the Free Keen YouTube channel, and there's hours and hours and hours of that kind of stuff.
Yes.
There, as well as some cool civil disobedience videos. Like, there's the whole range
and
of
hours and hours
videos.
and hours. Could be just one hearing.
Yeah, it could be. So check him out over at libertylobby.info if you want to get behind his funding efforts, because you're going to be gearing up again to hit up the state representatives later this year, coming soon, I'd imagine, because they've got to file their legislation coming up for the next year. Very soon.
And at some point in the not too distant future, there's going to be a special session to deal with how New Hampshire is going to respond to that horrible Supreme Court ruling that we discussed that says that states can force companies that aren't physically located in their state to pay sales tax to customer or because of sales that happen. So, for instance, a New Hampshire company like Think Penguin, if they sell a computer to someone in South Dakota,
where they're trying to tax outside entities,
and they wind up, doing enough sales, then the state of South Dakota would say, Think Penguin, you have to give us a bunch of sales tax money now.
So what is this special session?
The governor is trying to, he's already announced that he's going to call a special session, which means that the legislature will convene for the purpose of
this one thing.
Hearing this one thing.
Which is expensive, right? Because they got to pay them all for gas or whatever.
There's also been a couple of things that he vetoed, so they'll probably wind up saying, while we're here, we're going to vote on overriding vetoes.
Interesting. Okay.
So they'll just probably have it be a multi-purpose thing unless the governor says you can't do anything other than this.
Because this is a part-time legislature, and normally they only really meet regularly in the wintertime, basically. That's pretty wintertime, early spring.
From January through mid-May.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. So anyway, we're going to continue with your calls and thoughts.
Darryl, why haven't they gone to online conferencing yet? What is so hard about that? I mean, everyone. It
would be hard as hell with 400 people. I mean, there'd have to be some kind of complicated system of signaling to.
Yeah, but
hold on.
Compared to the gas money.
Hold on. I've been on conferences with 20 people, and it was an absolute S show. Yeah. I would not want to be on a conference with 399 other people. I would quit my job.
No, not the House hearings. I'm talking about the committees.
Oh. It would still be hard. It's hard because you can't make eye contact with people, and then where would the people go?
Where would the people go to testify? How would you wind up signaling, I want to testify? It would be an absolute S show.
Yeah, you'd be better off just shutting down the government than trying to change it.
Oh, I like that. I like that idea, too.
So let me see here. We got Mortified Penguin on the line. He's on Skype and calling from Virginia, I believe. Hello, Penguin.
Yeah, thank you, Minister.
Hey.
I actually wanted to call about a news story I heard this morning. And it was about the Las Vegas shooting and the fallout from that.
Okay.
So apparently the MGM that owns the Mandalay Bay Hotel is suing the victims that were 1,000 or more victims and victims surviving, family members were suing the MGM, and they're countersuing, yes. So they were suing, because of liability, I guess, for the attack, the deadly attack there, and they were countersuing, or they were suing the victims because under a law passed after the September 11th attacks that limited or prevented liability under due to terrorist attacks of some sort. I don't know the specifics.
Why are they suing? I mean, they're not going to get money out of these victims. What are they suing for?
I saw the headline on this and read the first paragraph of the thing, and it was some kind of lawsuit to prevent the people that were injured from being able to sue.
Yeah.
It's like a reverse class action.
Darryl, I believe you are correct. They are protecting themselves. They don't want to be sued.
Well, they shouldn't be held liable for some maniac. I mean, how the hell were they supposed to do something about this nut job?
Well, that's what I'm saying. What conceivably could they have done?
I mean, I can't understand why they would countersue. That's the confusing part to me.
It's like a reverse class action.
Somehow he was able to get these hundreds of pounds of weapons up to his suite, so they could be held responsible for not monitoring their hallways and their elevators. He used the service elevator.
If he's got a bunch of boxes or cases or whatever with guns in them, it's none of their damn business what he's bringing into the hotel. What are they going to do? Start searching everybody who comes into their hotel? I mean, that's not a precedent you want to set.
Maybe someone wants to set that precedent.
And we're talking about that in the aftermath, but I mean, it just hasn't happened because it's just not feasible. I mean, there were a lot of things talked about in the industry. I'm in that industry, by the way. I work in that industry.
Hotel?
Yeah. So okay. So I listen out for that kind of thing, and it just, I mean, maybe at some hotels, yes, that's a really high profile place, but that's just not feasible.
No.
You know, I mean, to search people,
we don't need checkpoints at every damn hotel lobby. That's crazy. But yes, I agree with you, Conan. There are probably people that want that.
Most definitely.
But they're not going to get that. I'm sorry. I mean, the courts aren't going to rule in favor of. I mean, I sure hope they're not going to rule in favor of the plaintiffs in that case.
Well,
since the attack, more than 2,500 people have brought lawsuits or threatened to file lawsuits against MGM Resort International and its subsidiaries.
Of course, the lawyers are trying to get people to let them sue or pay them to sue them or whatever. I wonder how many of the attorneys are taking those pro bono or on spec.
They're talking about the negative publicity from MGM, but I mean, can they really withstand like 1,000 suits or 1,000 victims or so, or 1,000 parties?
MGM, they can afford a lot of attorneys.
They can afford attorneys.
No, but can they afford to lose the lawsuit?
Well, no.
Right.
I mean,
so, article here from CNN says the owners of Mandalay Bay say that they bear no responsibility for the shooting.
Of course not.
They're facing a barrage of lawsuits over the shooting and responded by naming more than 1,000 of the shooting victims as defendants in 2 lawsuits of their own. They're not seeking monetary damages, but citing federal laws are asking the courts to protect them from legal action filed by the victims. So it's essentially a reverse class action lawsuit.
Without money.
Correct.
Because in a class action suit, if you're on the winning team, you get like 7 cents.
Right. So it's we're filing suit against everybody in America to prevent them from suing us for damages.
Interesting. Thanks for the call tonight, Penguin, for bringing that up. I appreciate it. The toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. Coming up, Sacha Baron Cohen, the creator of Borat. And Ali G, he's back at it with 4 new characters and taking on the American political class.
This is Jessica Armand, creator of the fluoride-free oral care brand My Magic Mud. You're going to love our new products. Our cutting-edge oral rinses deeply soothe your mouth and fight cavities naturally. Our breath spray, My Magic Mist, will invigorate your senses with essential oils of peppermint and eucalyptus. Our clinically proven toothpaste and tooth powders whiten your teeth and detoxify your mouth. Buy discounted bundles direct at mymagicmud.com and take 10% off with coupon code GCN10. mymagicmud.com.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp, is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. SaveItPurse.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You dial toll-free. Join us here. The number 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, by the way, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
And want to make sure you know about AnyPay. If you operate a retail business and you're looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance, it has never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. I can't tell you how important that is. If you've ever looked into the process of getting some sort of a system for accepting cryptocurrency at retail, they all want to know your social security number, your bank account information. AnyPay, all they need is your username and password, and you can set those to be whatever you want. And that's it. Then you're in. You sign up, you drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in their setup page, and load the app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash and others at your store. Get started now at anypay.global. Anypay.global. Sacha Baron Cohen is back, and it must be like 18 years. Because I remember watching Ali G and Borat a long time ago. It seems like 2000, 2002 would have been the range.
Ali G was 1998 when it started.
Was it? Yeah, it sounds about right. Wow. So he created these characters years ago and managed to pull the wool over all kinds of political animals' eyes in the UK. And then he brought his characters over to the United States, and he did the same thing with those same characters. But eventually people started to learn the characters.
He said the worst thing about his characters and why they never ever reemerge is because people figure out, oh, that's Borat. Oh, that's Ali G. Yep. Oh, that's Bruno. We can't anything you say to him is going on the candid camera.
There's a limited lifespan for these characters. And so now he's got 4 new ones. And so it's a Showtime series called Who is America? It started on Sunday night, so I presume it's going to be on Sunday nights. I don't know how many episodes it's slated for, but it's going to be a good one. I watched the first episode this week. Here's an angry opinion piece about the episode from Lucy Mangan, who doesn't even look happy in her in her Guardian photo here. She's got it's like an opinion kind of section of the culture section of the Guardian.
She's not. She's just serious.
Oh, and
she's unhappy.
That's how all my photos look. I don't smile on my photos.
Was Roy Moore shown in whatever you watched?
No.
Because apparently Roy Moore, one of the people that got duped here, has threatened to file a lawsuit if any of the footage is shown on Showtime.
Oh, good. I bet Showtime will love that.
I've got a list here from the website vulture.com of all the people that Sacha Baron Cohen has duped so far with this new show.
Series? Okay.
Dick Cheney.
Ooh, Bernie Sanders.
Sarah Palin. Joe Walsh.
There were
scrolling down, Ted
dozen of
Koppel,
them.
Roy Moore, Austin Rhodes, who is somebody I'm not familiar with, apparently an Augusta, Georgia
I don't know how long this list is going to be. There were at
host.
least a dozen in the first episode.
Joe Arpaio.
Let's get into what happened in the first episode here, because I want people to know about the show. So here's the story from The Guardian, which does a decent job of summarizing, although it's obviously going to have some opinion. There are, testing times for anyone who's still trying to keep alive the distinction between truth and lies, reality and fiction, the President of the United States and an ambulant cheese stick, sanity and madness, and even more testing, it turns out, for anyone attempting comedy based on a shared and certain vision of those categories and depending on the collective recognition of deviation from them for laughs. Sacha Baron Cohen, the inventor of parodic luminaries such as Ali G, Borat, and fashionista Bruno, is back with a new set of characters, using heavy prosthetics this time to disguise his now well-known face. In Who is America? As with his earlier creations, they are designed to dupe and manipulate prominent people into saying unfortunate things and test the limits of individual gullibility.
And, of course, edit the video to make it look like they're dumb as...
Of course.
Dumb as rocks.
And with his earlier work, the characters themselves are brilliantly done. In the opening episode, he produces Billy Wayne Ruddick Jr., the founder of an alt-right conspiracy theorist InfoWars-like website who hates on Obamacare because it forced him to go to the doctor and find out he had two types of diabetes, obese legs, and chalky deposits, unquote. He also has so that's the first character you're introduced to, and
this is the one that interviewed Sarah Palin and asked Sarah Palin a question about Chelsea Clinton's sex change.
This will be in a later episode that wasn't this week, so that has yet to air.
Okay.
In this week's episode, the Billy Wayne guy meets up with a couple of right-wingers, basically, and chats. Billy Wayne meets with Bernie Sanders. That's it's the opening scene. So Bernie Sanders is the first victim in this particular case. Now, you can kind of feel like Sacha Cohen may be a left-leaning person based on kind of the feel of the show, but he's going after everybody here.
Right.
And did he make him look like an idiot? That's all I'm asking. That's all I want.
He didn't make Bernie look as much like an idiot.
But probably Palin.
Well, that didn't happen yet.
Of course, and that there's an apology letter that Billy Wayne Ruddick posted on Twitter that I would love to get to.
The character? As the character? Okay, hold on. So let me at least get through the four characters here because we're pretty short on time.
Yep.
We can talk more about this too because the gun segment.
Oh yeah, this is just episode 1. There's 6 more.
The bulk of this show was the gun segment, and oh my god, that alone deserves some discussion. But anyway, going on. In the opening episode, you get Billy Wayne Ruddick Jr., and then the wet bag hat wearing. He had the pea hats.
Okay.
Yep. The little pink hats that people were wearing. That he was wearing. Liberal Nira Kane Gocello, quote, and this is how he introduces himself in this segment. I'm a cisgender white heterosexual male for which I apologize. Was part of his self-introduction in the segment, where he then sits down with this ultra-liberal character who's wearing an NPR shirt, sits down at a dinner table with a couple of Trump-supporting Republicans and talks to them. And those two actually seemed relatively, with it. They didn't seem like they were... It wasn't the most offensive section. It wasn't the most gotcha section.
Okay.
I would say it's probably the weakest as far as the comedy was concerned. But it was funny because in that segment, Sacha Cohen was really doing most of the comedy. So the character was funny. It wasn't as funny with the victims in that one. So it really wasn't typical in that way. But going on, he also has ex-con Rick Sherman, who paints with his own feces and ejaculate. And that segment was just bizarre.
I'm sure.
He meets with an art gallery lady, and this lady seems to be taking him seriously.
Oh yeah, because you can't deny art.
Right.
Art is art.
And at one point, he pulls out he shows her the art that he made in prison with his fecal matter and ejaculate. And she's commenting on how nice it is and this and that. And eventually, he pulls out a brush that he claims was made from the pubic hairs of various famous people or whatever, artists or prisoners, I forget who, but famous pubic hairs, and asks her to contribute to it, and she does it.
She doesn't?
She does.
Oh.
She contributes her own pubic hair to this man who's a very, creepy kind of jail, ex-con looking dude. And then finally, the final segment, which is the bulk of the show, was former Israel Army Colonel Iran Murad, with a very heavy, over-exaggerated accent, I will add, and very obvious, facial prosthetics, keen to extend his child-arming Kindergartens program into the United States. They're all convincing, committed performances, meticulously prepared and backed up by formidable wit and intelligence that allow him to pivot and follow wherever his patsy seems poised most fruitfully to take him. But also with his earlier work, it's also not always clear who or what the target is, and more often than not, the interviews seem to end up proving the strength of people's politeness rather than the weakness of their principles. They probe the limits of their patience rather than their gullibility or their self-belief. This was faintly tedious and frustrating back in what I think it has become reasonable to call simply the before times, when no more than ordinarily misguided, incompetent buffoons ran the world, and our problems existed in no more than 3 manageable humanoid dimensions, instead of bursting forth from a shadow cyber state. We're coming up here in moments about the first episode of the new series Who is America by Sacha Baron Cohen that aired Sunday on Showtime. More coming up.
This November, I'll be running the world's biggest and most popular marathon, the New York City Marathon, as a member of Team Innocence Project. The Innocence Project was the first legal organization to systematically apply DNA testing to cases of wrongful convictions as a powerful tool to reveal innocence. It's already been an extraordinary year for the Innocence Project and their clients. They've already freed more innocent people in the past 12 months than in any year in the history of the Innocence Project, and they're gearing up to do even more. The attorneys and paralegals for the Innocence Project are dedicated to doing whatever it takes to set an innocent person free. To support them, a new cohort of law students have recently joined and are excited to help with more than 200 cases of clients seeking to prove their innocence. 9 clients have been exonerated and reunited with their families in 2018 already, and your support now will help build on the incredible momentum of exonerations. You can support the Innocence Project by going to run.freetalklive.com. That's run.freetalklive.com.
I tried other brands, but I came back to my Sunshine.
For the best hot or cold pain relief, get the best. Get a Sunny Bay heating pad.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck, or back, or shoulder.
And the best relief for that pain is a Sunny Bay heating pad. Did you know that the American College of Physicians said that one of the best ways to treat muscle pain is heat therapy? Sunny Bay heating pads are handmade with high quality, can be used at home or at work, and have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy.
Why take another pill?
Many people use our Sunny Bay heating pads alone and got rid of the neck pain.
Long distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
Our homegrown small business tries to help people just like us. That's why we design and test our handmade products with great care before we introduce them to the public. You can easily find Sunny Bay heating pads on Amazon. Just go to Amazon.com and search for Sunny Bay heating pads.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. You can, of course, bring up what you want in these remaining moments. We may have time for you if you dial in now. 855-450-FREE like freedom. 855-450-3733. Doing a recap from this week's episode of Who is America, the new Sacha Baron Cohen gig, where he's now 4 characters, one of whom is a ultra-right-wing supposedly disabled former military veteran crackpot.
Not military.
Oh, really?
Was in the service.
Which service?
United Parcel.
This is from a letter that he wrote to Sarah Palin.
Right, where she demanded an apology.
We should hold until Palin's actually on the show. We should hold that letter until that time, because she wasn't on this week. Now, Bernie Sanders was, and a bunch of pro-gun people got skewered majorly. We'll get into that coming up here in moments. And he's going after everybody. He went after the left. He went after the right. So let's talk to, let's see, we've got, I think Big Loaf is on the line here. Big Loaf, are you with us? Big Loaf on the Discord on-air call-in line room. Going once. Going twice.
Yeah, I'm here.
There you are. All right, you're on the air.
Yeah, good evening, gentlemen. So, Conan, like a week or so ago, I think it was you that brought up, in a roundabout way, alternatives to Facebook. And so I was really calling in to talk about that, especially with the latest Recode interview with Zuckerberg, where he goes over, among other things, whatever responsibility for quote-unquote fake news they have on their platform and whether or not to censor some or shadow ban it, whatever. And one of those alternatives I wanted to talk about is Mastodon. Are you familiar with it?
Yeah, back when it first started, almost a year ago, right? I know that I got on board. I have an account.
So for people that have never heard of this, what is it?
It's like a decentralized Twitter.
Okay.
It's very Twitterish.
It's a decentralized Twitter, meaning that anybody can run a server. All the servers can connect together, kind of like the IRC network or the Riot network, where individuals can run these things, and then you can have people sign up on your server, but they can get federated, if you will, out to other servers.
I remember when GNU tried some kind of something, and it never really took off.
Yeah, we've. I actually was looking at this recently. I forget. I think maybe somebody called about it a couple weeks ago, or somehow it came across my purview, and I was looking at it and thinking, oh, do we want to do this? I'm like, I don't need anything else to moderate. So I didn't decide to move forward with it. But yeah, if anybody wants to go try it out, there's a bunch of public servers that you can join, and then purportedly, as long as the server supports free speech, you would have freedom of speech on this platform, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the idea, right? And you get to federate with who you want to federate with and not won't want to, right? And Darryl, I think the alternative you were talking about might have been called Diaspora, or maybe it was GNU Social, one of the others, right? And Mastodon, I think, actually leverages GNU Social and the API from that project. Yeah, I just think it's really cool that it's an open source alternative to an otherwise centralized, somewhat authoritarian leaning, it seems at times, social network.
Yeah, Twitter is very authoritarian leaning. Absolutely. And they've shut down a lot of accounts over political reasons. So this is a way around that. Thanks for bringing that up, Big Loaf. Anything else you want to share?
I'll take it easy.
All right, appreciate the call tonight. On our Discord on-air call-in line room, where you can jump in over at discord.lrn.fm. So, again, I'm sharing with you a summary and opinion on the new show by Sacha Baron Cohen, Who is America? This was obviously written by a leftist, and she's mad. She's mad because this show, which seemed to have a leftist slant, was not leftist enough for her. So here's her critique. to interview Bernie Sanders as his first character. This is the right-wing character that he's created called Billy Wayne Ruddock Jr.
Dr. Billy Wayne Ruddock Jr.
As Ruddock does, and spend that precious time arguing that he should make all Americans part of the 1% elite by, quote, moving the nines. He pulls out this piece of paper with this quixotic math that's not really math, explaining how all of the people could become the 1%, and is trying to explain this to Bernie Sanders. It's basically a segment to test Bernie Sanders' patience and see how far...
It sounds like all of these characters are in an attempt to see how long they could spoof these people until they finally, you know what,
The gun thing goes over and above that. But yes, that's definitely true of the first character here, the Ruddock with Sanders. She goes on complaining. She says, instead of, high-fiving and thanking Sanders for draining Hillary's resources, lets both Sanders and far-right conspiracy theorists off too lightly while preaching to the choir about the imbecility of certain known imbecilic types. Worse still, she says, is the segment with Conan Gocello, who is the ultra-liberal character that he created, who sits down to dinner with Trump supporters, Jane Page Thompson and her husband, in their South Carolina home, and asks not one question about their continued support of the man, likely to be impeached before the cheese course. Instead, he paints himself as an increasingly extreme liberal who encourages his daughter, Malala, to free bleed on the U.S. flag, and whose partner is having an open affair with a porpoise.
Well, that sounds about right. Yeah. I can see that conversation from the left.
The Thompsons' smiles become fixed, but he's a guest in their home and they treat him as such. Thus, all Baron Cohen succeeds in doing is humanizing two Trump diehards.
Well, we haven't seen the Palin interview yet, so she might completely change her tune once the Palin interview comes out. She might be praising this guy.
Oh, I'm just giving you what her opinion is on this one episode. She's doing a decent recap.
Yeah, she's butthurt.
Oh, she is. Partial redemption, she says, at least comes in the final segment after a dismal interaction with a fecal artist and a gallery owner in Laguna Beach, which requires her to sit through the sound off of offstage huffings as he produced one of his works. He actually gets up in the middle of the interview, grabs a magazine, and goes into the bathroom and creates some art for her on the scene.
Wow.
So here we go. Murad, this is the Israel gun guy, gets various gun nuts in and outside Washington to promote arming preschoolers. Quote, fill the puppy pistol by pushing his lunchbox into his belly and sending the naughty man for a really, really long time out, says one joyously. The gun lobbyist Larry Pratt notes that if children are young enough, quote, if they haven't developed a conscience yet, they can make very good soldiers, unquote. The final, most insoluble problem presents itself. If it would be funny only if it weren't so frightening. Let me tell you more about this gun segment here and stop down this recap. This was amazing to watch. It was really the best segment of all four of them. It was also the longest one. He interviews, and I've got a lengthy piece that really digs into it. In fact, the headline here from Mashable.com, gun rights activist claims he totally knew he was in a skit in Who is America. So one of these guys, Philip Van Cleve, wrote an article on his website, apparently, or for some website, claiming he knew about this, he figured it out, but he went along with it anyway. And if you watch this episode, you will be amazed at what Sacha Cohen got these pro-gun people to do. Now, look, I'm in favor of self-defense. Okay, I'm a libertarian. I believe in your right to self-defense, and you should be able to have a gun. But they literally got these gun guys to say, or to at the very least appear to say, and it seemed like they said it. It didn't seem like tricky editing or anything like that, that they supported preschoolers using guns in self-defense. It was insane what this guy got them to say. And then they go and they're in this part of this video for the kindergartner or kindergartens, or I think what they called it. The idea was that they would teach kids as young as age 3 or 4 to fire guns in self-defense, which anybody that supports gun rights should at the very least understand. You don't put a gun in the hands of a 3-year-old.
Right.
No matter how much instruction or how many adults are around, you don't do that. Now, there is an age at which a child is ready, and I'm sure that age is different for each child. There is an age at which a child can and absolutely should in, gun-friendly families be brought to the gun range and taught the basics and supervised. I think I was at the range between somewhere in 8 and 10 years old, somewhere in that range with my parents or with my dad. So, I mean, it's possible at the later side of the first 10 years.
Right.
But 3, 4? I mean, how could somebody possibly be duped into saying something like that on television? It was amazing to watch it happen. Hilarious. And as this person in the article here, the one point I do agree with her on, it's pretty scary. The fact that they could even somehow trick these people to say these things was just, my jaw had dropped watching this. It was amazing. She says the final most insoluble problem presents itself. It would be funny only if it weren't so frightening. Most of what they say is already on record and has been publicly cheered to the rafters by people whose views aren't going to change by the addition of some minor logical absurdism. If it's being played for laughs, it's a venture that needs to stick to embarrassing people with rude pictures. If it's aiming for satire, it needs a clear, worthy target and unerring aim. Maybe the much-hyped coming confrontations with Sarah Palin and Roy Moore will refine the scattergun approach, she says.
Yep, that's what she's waiting for.
This is a show worth keeping an eye on. It seems like due to this opening episode, he's going to be going after everybody and anybody.
Good.
Nobody is going to be safe from this.
That's why South Park is so popular.
And kudos to him. He really did a great job with the first episode. It's, again, Who is America? It's airing on Showtime on Sunday nights. We'll see you tomorrow. freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments around the world killing innocent people? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin is money that cannot be inflated or controlled by any state. By continuing to use their money, you're perpetuating the killing. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available to you now. Learn it, use it, spread it.
Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. It's Bitcoin.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, July 18th, 2018. Silver is trading at $15.44 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,224 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $26, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,456. Antiwar.com reports while Secretary of the Treasury Steve Mnuchin says that exemptions from U.S. sanctions against Iran will be considered in certain cases, the European Union is apparently not going to be one of them. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo confirmed that he has rejected EU appeals for Iran exemptions. Senior officials from Britain, France, and Germany have all urged the U.S. not to apply the sanctions to EU nations' companies when they start going into effect next month. The EU has passed laws rejecting U.S. sanctions and forbidding their companies companies from complying with them. Pompeo and Mnuchin told the EU, however, they want unprecedented financial pressure on Iran and that they will not ease any sanctions until they see a tangible change in Iranian policy. Mnuchin says that exemptions are only possible in very specific circumstances where it clearly benefits our national security. He suggested nations that need more time to wind down oil purchases from Iran could be given more time, for instance. India is expected to push hard for such measures, or barring that, a move by the U.S. to release oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to keep oil prices from skyrocketing when Iran is cut off. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. UPI reports the U.S. Treasury Department and IRS announced Monday certain tax-exempt organizations will no longer be required to provide personally identifiable information about donors. Under the change, nonprofit organizations such as labor unions, volunteer fire departments, issue advocacy groups, local chambers of commerce, veterans groups, and community service clubs will no longer be required to list the names and addresses of their donors on Schedule B of their annual returns. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin said Americans should not be required to send the IRS information that it doesn't need in order to effectively enforce our tax laws, and the IRS simply does not need tax returns with donor names and addresses to do its job in this area. Previously, Congress directed the IRS to collect donor information of contributors who gave at least $5,000 to charities that accept tax-deductible contributions. The IRS received a full version of the information, while redacted forms were released publicly. Mnuchin said the change will in no way limit transparency, and the same information will still be made available to the public while protecting donor information. He said this new policy for certain tax-exempt organizations will make our tax system simpler and less susceptible to abuse. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky praised the decision as a positive development for political donors, saying this decision by the IRS is a move in the right direction to end activist regulators' culture of intimidation to silence political speech. More and more states were using these documents to chill political discourse rather than encourage it. House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi said the decision would give the IRS fewer tools to determine whether affected groups are following the law. Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com.